for watching an IdahoSports.com game streams production of Idaho High School Sports. Enjoy the game.
Did you know you'd have to eat 10 cups of raw spinach to absorb the same amount of calcium that you get from drinking 1 cup of milk? Amazing.
As a farmer, my land is my life, my livelihood, and with it comes a sense of pride. That's why I choose AgriService. They share that sense of pride with me. AgriService continues to be the same great company with the familiar faces I've always trusted, and that will never change. By adding the equipment giants like Challenger, Rogator, and Terragator, they're now everybody's total ag solution. So go visit any of their 10 locations or see them online at agri-service.com. You'll see why they are my #1 equipment dealer.
Welcome live to Filer High School in the Magic Valley here, just outside of Twin Falls, IdahoSports.com. The All-Star football games, all-state football games. Busy day here on IdahoSports.com, starting with the 8-man high school game getting underway here momentarily. They're announcing the teams right now. It's the 8-man East. They'll be wearing the yellow and the blue, taking on the 8-man West. They'll be wearing the white and the black. I'm Will Henneke. I'll be the man in charge of identifying all these kids today. Paul Kingsbury running the camera tonight. He'll be the man in charge of making sure you see and hear everything here. And one thing you'll most definitely hear over the course of at least the next couple of hours is some wind. We're high atop the press box here at Filer High School, and it's a bit of a breezy day here in the Magic Valley. We'll get an opportunity a little bit later on. I'll have Paul take a little bit of a panoramic scene. You'll see it's a lot of farmland. We're out on the edge of town here, a lot of farmland, so not a lot in the way of wind breaks. You get a breeze going, and it just keeps right on going. So you'll have some wind going on a little bit. We do apologize for that. But Mother Nature has the upper hand on us here. So again, we're starting with the 8-man West versus 8-man East high school game. Then there will be a break after this contest. It'll be the 7th grade all-state game, followed by the 8th grade all-state game. Stay with us all day long. We'll have all the action coming up here on IdahoSports.com. If you're wondering about division lines, which team you're rooting for here, 8-man West or 8-man East, 8-man West is essentially districts 1, 2, and 3. And 8-man East is essentially districts 4, 5, and 6. And again, the white and the black, that is your West team. And the blue and the yellow, that is your East team. Feel free to drop us a line here. Let us know where you're watching from. And one thing we'll go ahead and throw out here right now is there's a good number of kids we're seeing for the first time here. So if you hear a name that's mispronounced, don't be shy about shooting us an email. Paul, how do they get a hold of us?
Webcast at IdahoSports.com. There's an email address right there at the top of your webcast player. That's webcast at IdahoSports.com.
Let's take a quick time out here on IdahoSports.com. When we come back, we will have your 8-man all-state football game here on IdahoSports.com.
Practices or games.
Coaches and athletic directors throughout Idaho have received training to identify concussions, recognizing an injured student and keeping them from returning to the game when necessary.
We are asking parents to be aware of concussion symptoms.
Blurred vision, frequent headaches, and disorientation. Contact your family's doctor or your child's coach. Please join us in keeping concussions out of high school sports.
Welcome back to Filer High School. Filer, Idaho, just outside of Twin Falls, down here in the Magic Valley. Will Henneke, Paul Kingsbury with you with the 8-man all-state football game. Just about set to kick it off here. Here on the near sideline right in front of us in the white, orange, and black, that is 8-man West, comprising primarily of District 1, 2, and 3 kids. That's the western edge of the state, as well as North Idaho, the Panhandle. Coached by Rob Vafis out of Troy High School up in that's technically District 2, correct, Paul?
Yeah, it is. Good guy, too.
Yeah,
Good guy.
He's a good friend of IdahoSports.com. Across the way, you'll see the yellow and the blue. That is 8-man East, essentially Twin Falls across southern Idaho. They are coached by Lalo Hidalgo. Captains meeting at midfield right now, representing the West. Mick Wilson out of Council. Leighton Vander, Esch out of Salmon River. And across the way, we're seeing that's Logan Bosma out there, number 11, number 12, Riley Van Leeuwen, I believe. And again, if we're pronouncing these names wrong, feel free to email us and let us know. We want to make sure we're getting them right. Devin Fitzsimmons also out there. And there's one I can't see, and it's because he's covered up right now by Mick Wilson. And you don't see too many guys at the 1A 8-man level who are 6'5", 230 pounds. But Mick Wilson, number 1 on your screen right there. That would be the one. Vander, Esch, and Wilson, longtime district rivals, getting to play on the same team here. Vander Esch headed to Boise State.
Yeah.
Where he will walk onto the football team. It looks like the West will kick off, and the East will receive.
East versus West, going north and south.
Got all our directions covered here on IdahoSports.com. Not a bad crowd to start things off here at 10:05 or whatever a.m. that we're at now. Should be a really nice day as it goes on. As we mentioned, a full day of football here at Filer High School. The 8-man West versus East here. The 7th grade All-State game coming up next, followed by the 8-man All-Star game. Would like to thank some of our big sponsors here on IdahoSports.com. The United Dairymen of Idaho Farm Bureau, big one here. I know that they have a presence here in the Treasure Valley, or in the Magic Valley, with the big agricultural base down here. So we'd like to thank them for their presence and their sponsorship of IdahoSports.com as well.
Also want to thank Cable One, phone, internet, everything. Cable.
Not groceries.
They don't, if you ask nicely, the person we deal with in Phoenix is actually really nice. She might actually do it.
Fair enough.
Of course, you mentioned Agri-Service, Les Schwab Tires, and of course, can't forget our title sponsor, the United Dairymen of Idaho. My family went to the Dairyman Parade last night.
Did I say Idaho Service or Agri-Beef?
I think you said Agri-Service, like you should have. Yeah.
Because Agri-Beef is an entirely different company, and we'd love to have them on board here on IdahoSports.com.
They always tell me no, so if you have an in there with Agri-Beef.
We're all about it. Again, starting things off, 8-man West in the white jerseys trimmed with orange and black. They will be kicking off from right to left as you're watching here. It's Leighton Vander Esch out of Salmon River High School in Riggins. He will get set to kick things off. Heading deep to receive for the East, Hazen Weaver out of Dietrich. He is deep, as well as number 3, Adam Denny out of Hanson. They are your 2 deep men as we're set to get things underway here on IdahoSports.com. Will Henneke and Paul Kingsbury with you all day, rocking the SPF 8, so we're going to be rock lobster by about halftime. And here we go. Vander Esch will line that one, and it goes out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. So flags down.
Cut him a little slack. It's been a while since he's...
it has, and he's a guy that goes sport to sport, and a lot of these kids do, so kind of retraining the muscles, if you will, to do the football thing instead of the basketball thing or the treading. It may take a couple of snaps to get things going here. It looks like the East is discussing just taking the ball where it may lay. These kids that got together here in the Magic Valley a couple of days ago, they've had a couple of practices together. A lot of them knowing each other, playing against each other, now playing with each other. And for most of these kids, not all of them, but for most of these kids, one last time to put on the pads and play some football. First down and 10 for the East, moving from left to right. Looks like Logan Bosma from Lighthouse Christian will be the quarterback here. Has 3 receivers, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. He's in the shotgun formation. Back he goes. Little bit of a rush, now rolls out, and he's in trouble, and down he goes. A sack on first down. That's Sam Root out of Garden Valley coming up with a sack. A big loss there, back from the 35 all the way back to about the 21-yard line. So second and, most of the way back over to the Lighthouse Christian campus here. Lighthouse Christian right here in Twin Falls. Program that started a little over 10 years ago and has gone from basically nothing to a very good 8-man program. Bosma again in the shotgun, again 2 receivers to the left. He'll hand it off, a little trap play up the middle, working his way through and picking up a few yards. Tackle made by Tyler Hankerson from Prairie High School up in Cottonwood.
I like Prairie High School.
We went up there for IdahoSports.com, did a game
Salmon River.
Against Salmon River. And boy, that was a whale of a football game. You can watch it in the IdahoSports.com archives. And that Prairie team, everybody was telling us when we went up there it was 0 week. Hey, Prairie's a year away. Prairie's a year away.
Yep.
If you're a year away and go to the state semifinals, you're okay. Trips to the right-hand side now as it's 3rd and a ton. Bosma takes the snap, back to throw. It's going to be a little screen pass. Cutting towards the middle, picking up a few yards, but, it kind of keeps spinning and fighting. Hazen Weber, the reception out of Dietrich, picked up a little bit more than I thought he would. It's going to be 4th and about 8. And we'll see if they punt or go for it. It's an all-star game. Why would you punt?
Well, it's 8-man and all-star, so that's a double whammy for the punter. Sit down,
It should be automatic forfeit. So 4th down and 8. Ball on about the 36-yard line. Trips to the right, and you've got the running back in a bit of a slot formation. As back to throw is Bosma. He's got a little bit of a room. He's going to go ahead and throw it up. He's got a man out there. It's just a little bit off target and incomplete. Intended receiver Adam Denny out of Hanson, so we'll have a change of possession here. And the West will take over 1st and 10 at the East about 37-yard line. It looked like Denny was open. But Bosma was on the move a little bit.
Open as Denny's?
Yes, Denny's is always open.
Yes.
Do we have a Perkins here? That'd be even better. Do we have a Perkins playing?
I think there is a Perkins here there in Twin Falls. Can't say here.
No, I'm saying playing in the game. If we had a Denny and a Perkins, they'd have to be on opposite sides.
Yes.
1st down, 10 yards to go. Ball on the East 36.5-yard line. Leighton Vander Esch under center. He'll take the snap, sweep going to the right-hand side. Looking for a little bit of room, not finding much, but finding a couple yards is J.D. Furman out of Garden Valley.
Of course, Leighton Vander Esch, our inaugural 1A Division II boys IdahoSports.com Student Athlete of the Year this year. Tell you what, that was an impressive resume they sent for that young man.
Well, he beat out, one of the kids he beat out was Mick Wilson, his current teammate in this game, and, talk about a couple of great resumes. I know those were 2 guys when the committee got together and said, okay, who's getting this? Those were 2 names that showed up on everybody's ballot. I formation behind Vander Esch, 2nd down and 7. Drops to throw. He'll go ahead and throw one out into the flat and let it up in the air a little bit. Nice catch. That's Reggie Tillman out of Genesee on the reception. Down around the 15-yard line, a touch pass. Tillman went up and got it. So 1st down for the West here.
Genesee.
Great song by Arrested Development. It was all a dream about Genesee. Genesee, for those of you who don't know, right outside of Moscow.
Yep, the Bulldogs.
Breaking up the formation a little bit here, the West. Vander Esch now in the shotgun. Running back next to him, receiver split. Running back comes in motion. Up the middle goes the carry. Few yards there, not a ton, but a few. Looks like Jacob Oatman out of Kamei. What are you pointing at there, Paul?
They formed a gang now.
Oh, we got a whole posse here?
Will and I brought our sons to the event, and now there's...
Oh, they found a football, too. We're going to have a little 2-on-2 football going on here.
I'm going to say it now. My son will break an arm or leg today.
And Anthony, my boy, will get upset at someone. He's a competitive little cuss. He's going to be playing in these games in a few years.
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Second down, 8 yards to go. Ball inside the 20, right about the 15 for the West. Vander Esch back to throw. He's going to throw outside towards the goal line. It's incomplete.
Yep.
They're going to throw a flag.
Saw that.
Contact just a little bit early as Caden Stimpson out of Hanson playing defense out there. Ball hung in the air just a little bit, and Stimpson got there a split second early. In Idaho, not necessarily a spot foul, so it should be a half the distance to the goal and a first down for the West.
I wish would change.
You wish it was a spot foul?
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen it so many times in high school football, not in this case, obviously, but in high school football where it's a long, deep pass, and the defender,
30 yards down the field.
And the defender,
it's give up a touchdown or give up 10 yards.
And everything in high school football is about the safety of the player. That's why they can't run it out of the end zone on a kickoff, for example, which, again, makes no sense. But, if you're going to talk about safety of the player, take away that 10, 15-yard penalty, give it a spot foul, and that's going to reduce the number of intentional pass interferences you get in order to save a touchdown.
Third down and a yard from about the 9. Thought it was an automatic first, but apparently it's not. Vander Esch will keep. He'll have the first down. Veer to the left, and he's going to score. Touchdown. Leighton Vander Esch, an 8-yard touchdown run, and the West takes the lead.
If he'd have worked a little harder in high school, he would have been one heck of an athlete.
Oh, jeez. He's got good size. I mean, he's 6'4", about 215, 220 pounds. You can see he's not just some skinny twig out there. He'll be walking on to the Boise State football team. A preferred walk-on, which basically means a top 25 program said, young man, come play for us. We can't give you a scholarship now, but come play for us.
And I have a feeling he's going to work his way up pretty darn quick.
Yeah, and Boise State does have a history of finding and mining some gems out of the 8-man ranks. 2-point conversion attempt, no good. Good defense there. From the east side is coming up to make the play. Number 6, Caston Holbrook out of North Gem. Good stop on the 2-point conversion. So with 8:07 to go here in the first quarter of the 8-man All-State football game, the West with a 6-0 lead. We'll take a timeout here on IdahoSports.com.
You're watching an IdahoSports.com game streams production of Idaho High School Sports. Enjoy the game.
Will Henneke, Paul Kingsbury back on IdahoSports.com. The 8-man All-State football game. The West has taken a 6-0 lead on an 8-yard touchdown run from Leighton Vander Esch out of Salmon River, and now he'll kick it off. He's a do-everything guy, punches that one down the middle, and this one is going to, again, take a left-hand turn at about the 30-yard line, but this time picking it up and working on the return, picking up a few yards out of it. For the East, again, Caston Holbrook out of North Gem, who just had the nice tackle on the 2-point conversion, says, again, to heck with it. It's an all-star game. I'm going to pick it up and run with it. So right about the 30-yard line, just inside, the East will have their second possession. Trailing 6-0. Got into trouble on the first possession with about a 17-yard loss on a sack on the first play. Worked themselves back to a 4th and 8, but the 4th down pass fell incomplete. So we'll try again here. 1st and 10, ball just inside the 30 for the East. It's Logan Bosma with the snap. Back he goes. He's going to roll out under all kinds of pressure. Sets up the screen. Pass is complete. Snuffed out well by the West. In there on the play, Dylan Fisher from Clearwater Valley. Vander Esch also in there again. I suspect we'll be calling his name a lot. Also in the general neighborhood was Hankerson out of Prairie. 2nd down, and they actually lost maybe a foot. So call it 2nd and 11. Long 10, short 11, your choice. 2 receivers to the left, 1 for the right. Bosma to take the snap. Back he goes. Again, pressure coming. He throws a high slide. It's intercepted. Coming back the other way with some real estate. Turning up the corner. This could go for a touchdown. Touchdown, West. Cody Self out of Troy with the interception. The ball sailing just a little bit. He had the receiver open, and it sailed just a little bit. But Self comes up with the interception about the 40-yard line, returns it to the left side for a touchdown. And very quickly, it's 12-0 in favor of the West.
In all-star games like this, all-state games, they can get out of hand fairly quickly, or they can stay close. It's usually one or the other.
That's generally how football games go. They're either close or they're not.
Not always. I've seen other stuff happen.
It's either close or it's not. 2-point conversion attempt here for the West.
You're fired.
Vander Esch back to throw. Throws it towards the left corner. Again, it will fall incomplete. Good coverage on the play by Riley Van Leeuwen out of Murtaugh. And it's 12-0 now in favor of the West with 6:56 to go here in the first quarter. We'll take a time out here on IdahoSports.com. We'd like to thank the United Dairymen of Idaho. We'll be right back.
Did you know you'd have to eat 10 cups of raw spinach to absorb the same amount of calcium that you get from drinking 1 cup of milk? Amazing. Milk. No other food is equal.
All right, welcome back. Don't forget, you can get your email into us, webcast at IdahoSports.com. Love to hear from you. Let us know where you're watching, who you're watching. You want to give a shout-out, it's webcast at IdahoSports.com.
Looking here at some of these forms that were filled out for this event, it's kind of fun as we got the kickoff there. This one punched deep by Vander Esch, so he's back in mid-game form. Kind of fun to look through and see what some of these are, what some of these guys are filling out. Like we've called Caston Holbrook's name a couple of times out of North Gem. Headed to Utah State University next year. Said he'd love to play pro football if it arises, and I guess the instinct is you hear 8-man football going pro and you laugh, but then you think about former Boise State center Matt Paradis, drafted by the NFL's Denver Broncos. He's out of council. Chris Horn, who played a couple of years for the Kansas City Chiefs, he's out of notice. So maybe not quite the laughing matter that you might think.
You know, I've said this many times. My favorite brand of football in Idaho is 8-man.
Oh, it's a blast.
You know, I watch tons of games every year, and I love the 8-man the best.
Bosma to throw. He's in trouble. Spins away from pressure. Good move. Good pocket awareness. He'll keep going. Now he'll just sling it down, and it's almost caught. Bosma running for his life. Got rid of it. Was looking for Hayes and Weber out of Dietrich. Somebody got a hand in there for the West to break it up.
I think it was a shoulder in there. Kind of popped him.
Might have been Self again. We'll pick our player of the game at the end of the game. The player of the game doesn't really get anything other than the adoration of the IdahoSports.com broadcast crew, but
the tens of thousands of folks watching.
There you go. Gives us something to keep track of, and we've already got a couple strong early candidates. 3 receivers to the near side. Low snap picked up by Bosma. Really no chance there. As coming in for the West on the play is number 32, Sam Root out of Garden Valley. And he'll get credit for the snack, also known as the sack.
They got snacks down there?
They do. They have a fine concession stand here.
Be right back.
So the East right now having a hard time getting going north and south, I guess you'd say, since the field is situated north and south. They're trying to go south, literally, but they're going south metaphorically. As the West right now bringing a lot of pressure. And quarterback Logan Bosma out of Lighthouse Christian doing a fair bit of running around just for sheer survival. 12-0 in favor of the West. We're about halfway through the first quarter here. A Leighton Vander Esch 8-yard touchdown run, and then an interception return by Cody Self out of Troy, covering about 40 yards. That is where we're at now. Not a bad crowd here for a
not at all.
Saturday morning. A nice day here. As we mentioned, you can hear the wind a little bit. But, temperature-wise, it's pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my SPF 8 has already been rendered useless, but
Well, I'm not rubbing any more on you.
we'll get some wind burn going here at some point.
Yeah. Tips of the ear. Well, at least our ears are covered.
Ears are covered.
Yeah.
Ears are covered. I'm going to have the golfer tan line because I have on the hat and the glasses.
That's true.
So my chin is going to have a nice tan. My chin and the back of the neck. So third down and about 14 yards to go from their own 16-yard line for the East. Back to throw Bosma again, running for his life. No chance there as he'll go down inside the 10-yard line. Mick Wilson in there on the stop for the West. And the East is going to have to figure something out to slow down that rush somehow. And to be fair to the East, the West, they've got some big boys over there.
They do.
Wilson, 6'5", 225. Vander Esch, 6'4", 215. Blake Diakino, 6'2", 180. Keep going down the list. 6'1", 180, Hankerson. Clint Sandquist, 6'1", 185. 6'4", 205 for Reggie Tillman. This time going ahead and punting will be the East. And it's a line drive. Kind of got hung up in the wind there. Good news is the punt did pick up the first down as it was 4th and 27. So about a 30-yard punt.
That's the golf equivalent to the ladies' tees, I believe.
Hey, it made it.
As long as you get the drive past the ladies.
It would have done better, actually. The punt itself would have been in better shape, but it kind of took a left-hand turn when it hit the ground.
Yeah.
Didn't get the most favorable bounce in the world, but you've backed the West up a little bit here. Instead of starting inside the 10, they're at least outside the 30-yard line. 5:35 to go in the first. 12-0 in favor of the West. The West in the white jerseys have the football. And they are moving from right to left here. Leighton Vander Esch under center. Well, not under center. He's in the shotgun. Has two receivers to the left. He'll drop to throw. Coming on rush. Stepping up in front of it. Good job there by the East to sniff that one out. And coming up with the sack once again, Caston Holbrook. As Holbrook thus far has definitely been the standout for this East side, which is down 2 touchdowns midway through the first.
And anytime you can solo tackle Vander Esch, that's an accomplishment.
It is. Holbrook's got some good size on him. 6'1", 190. He's not a little guy. Looks like he's playing a linebacker position. Linebacker or safety, take your choice. 8-man football, it's kind of drawn up a little bit differently out of the shotgun. Vander Esch back to throw again. Pretty good pressure coming from the East. Vander Esch running to the right-hand side, gets near the corner, won't have anything. He'll still have about 8 yards to go for a first down, but a good tackle made out there on the edge by Morgan Johnson. 5'9", 185 pounds out of Mackey. And if Vander Esch is able to get around that young man out there, if he's able to get around Johnson, he probably had another 10, 12 yards, would have had a first down, but instead, it's 3rd and 9 from just inside the 30-yard line, and an opportunity here for the East. If they can come up with a stop to get a little momentum here after what's been a rocky start to the game.
You just kind of defined 8-man football. If you can get to the outside corners, get to the edge, you're gone.
Vander Esch under center will take the snap. Again in the shotgun. He'll sweep himself over to the left-hand side. Good job by the East. Is now Vander Esch going to turn around. He's got a lot of real estate. He's still looking around. Will throw it down the field. He's got a man out there. Good catch. Down around the 10-yard line. The ball caught for the West by Reggie Tillman out of Genesee. Vander Esch running for his life. Good pursuit from the East. But eventually Vander Esch was able to just set his feet and throw it downfield. Tillman had found an open spot. Vander Esch able to get him the ball, and it's first down and 10 yards to go on about the 12-yard line for the West.
Vander Esch, I've seen it all year. He's got that loose style as quarterback where he doesn't tuck that football. He palms it and holds it out.
And you talk about an explosive athlete. You're talking about all-state in both football and basketball. He's now lining up as a receiver on the left-hand side. As set to take the snap for the West is number 15, Cody Self. He'll throw a quick screen. Caught by Tillman. Good job there. I think once again it's going to be Holbrook on the tackle. Also in there, number 88, Caden Stimson out of Hanson in the neighborhood. So good defense there from the East. They've tightened things up a little bit after what was a rough start.
Well, like you mentioned, this is the first time these kids have played football for 8 months, 10 months, somewhere in there, 9 months. So, getting back in form and getting the juices flowing again, catching your breath.
Yeah, it's as people will tell you, different sports require different levels, if you will, different types of cardiovascular fitness, if you will. It's a little bit of a different pace here. Quick out there from Self. Falls incomplete.
Self didn't quite like the tackle. I think he got up saying, listen, I missed it. How about you don't take me down next time?
Yeah, Wasey Erickson out of Raft River. He's in on the hit on Blake DeKino. Again, if we're fumbling on any of the pronunciations, feel free to email us, webcast@IdahoSports.com. Or if you just want to let us know where you're tuned in from.
Well, we've got one watching from Sparks, Nevada. Family friend.
Sparks!
Family friend, Janine, and neighbors. Go West. Go Luke Joslin, number 52.
Luke Joslin, 6'1", 195 pounds out of Deary.
Go Mustangs.
Another one of those District 2 schools. Good football they play up there. 3 receivers to the right-hand side.
Ooh.
Self snags down the high snap. Pressure coming. He'll throw it into the middle as Vander Esch, and it falls incomplete, nearly intercepted by Holbrook. Good coverage. Vander Esch, as he slipped, might have bumped Holbrook incidentally just enough to keep Holbrook from coming up with a goal line interception.
His feet just came out from under him.
Yeah, just threw on the brakes, and whoop, there he went. There will be photos from these games available at IdahoSports.com.
Yep. Also, you click that banner at the top of your webcast player, and you can order packages. Steve Connor Photography is here working with us, and he's doing memory mates. He's doing a super pack that includes, player trading cards and ticket replicas and a bunch of stuff. You can get him in packages with the game DVD, buy him separately, whatever you want. Just click that banner, and you can get some great keepsakes of this game today.
4th down and 12. Ball just inside the 15. Vander Esch will sweep it to the right. Cody Self looking to throw. He's going to come back for Vander Esch. It's caught, and he's in for a touchdown. Play was well read by Van Leeuwen, the defensive back. Problem is, Van Leeuwen is about 5'9". Yeah. Vander Esch is about 6'4". Self just got some air under it. And Vander Esch made the catch for the touchdown, a 14-yard touchdown on 4th down. And the West has extended their lead to 18-0 with 2:30 left to go in the first. The West is going to go for 2 again here. Pretty much the only time you kick is after scores here, and I don't mean extra points. Start each half and kick off after scores. You're not going to see too many field goal attempts in this one. Self stays at quarterback here. We've got a little bit of a jump in the middle of the defensive line. So the 3.5-yard 2-point conversion just went down to about 1 3/4 yards. As Jacob Oatman out of Cami, I beg your pardon, wrong 41. That was Rashawn Norman out of Dietrich. On the nose there. He's been applying some pressure here the last series or so. Handoff up the middle. 2-point conversion is good. As Devin Krasowski out of Notice will carry it in to make it 20-0. 2:30 to go here in the first quarter. It's the West 20, the East nothing on IdahoSports.com. We'll be right back.
What's that? Are you serious? He sang that all the way to Vegas? Oh, okay. I don't need any more. Hi, so your brakes say they're down to 2%. Is that all they said? More or less.
For 30 years, we've been the brake experts at Les Schwab, and it shows. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Welcome back to Filer High School, Filer, Idaho. It is the 8-man all-state football game. The West Districts 1, 2, and 3 leading the East, District 4, 5, and 6 by a score of 20-0. Will Henneke and Paul Kingsbury with you here on IdahoSports.com. We'll be here all day. 7th grade game coming up next, followed by the 8th grade game. The West to kick off again. They've had a very good first quarter. Leighton Vander, Esch, who has now run for and caught a touchdown pass, and he's primarily played quarterback. Go figure that one. Kicks it deep, returning back with some room up across the 35. Good return there by Adam Denny out of Hanson. He gets up across the 35-yard line, and best starting field position of the day by a couple of yards for the East. Hanson, you'll hear me say kids out of Hanson and kids out of Murtaugh. But football-wise, those two programs played together this year. Both schools have had number issues in the past, and they're old rivals. Play for the wagon wheel.
Yeah.
They're not exactly BFFs of one another in terms of athletics. But both teams were able to kind of look at the other and say, hey, look, these kids need opportunities to play. Let's put life aside, and they wound up co-oping football. As we're going to have a false start on the East there, as they look like they tried to go on 2 instead of on 1, and the message didn't get through to everybody here. The East has not been able to slow down the pass rush of the West. West getting a couple new players on the field. Clint Sandquist out of Troy, he's out there. Also Jacob Oatman out of Kamei. They've been out there a little bit, but they're out there more now. Mick Wilson looked like he's playing on one defensive end. Also Sam Root out of Garden Valley playing at a linebacker position. After a rough start defensively for the East, they had kind of locked down a bit, gotten better, but they've been defensively playing with their backs to the wall, as essentially the entire game has been played to our left here so far. Bosma coughs up the football on a handoff. It's still loose, and he'll fall back on it. So again, it's going to be second and a whole bunch for the East, as they're just really having a hard time getting in sync offensively, which in these all-star games, Paul, as you were alluding to earlier, you can see that happen because these are a lot of kids, You've had 1 or 2 practices together. Sometimes it's hard to establish that rhythm, establish that tempo, and, you just hope the East can get things rolling here a little bit, as they're already down 20-0, final minute of the first quarter. Bosma takes the snap, back to throw. Again, under pressure. He scrambles away from one, throws, almost a great one-handed catch. As there's a collision there. Hazen Weber, the intended receiver, Oatman there on the coverage. Bosma has not had a chance to simply go back, set his feet, and look downfield. It's go back, look up, see 3 white shirts right in his grill, run for his life. And if he happens to spot somebody in a yellow jersey, hopefully he's an eligible receiver, because the ball's going to wind up flying towards him. 3rd down, 19 yards to go. Ball back inside its own 30-yard line for the East. Backs on either side of Bosma. Snap high over his head, bounding around. He's able to get around Mick Wilson. Carrying it down. He's just going to fling it way downfield. Nearly caught. Might have been deflected, as Holbrook was the intended receiver. Cody Self on the coverage. I think Self got a hand on it with 33 seconds left to go in the first quarter. As the East just looking for anything good to happen. It could be a penalty. It could be a fortunate bounce. It could be just about anything at this point. As they've got 4th and 19 from inside their own 30-yard line here on IdahoSports.com. There's that wind again. It's blowing right across the field. It's not really working in anybody's favor here. Not going into the wind, not going away from the wind. It's blowing directly across. Blowing away from your camera angle, if you will. As Bosma, the quarterback, back to throw on 4th down. He's just going to let it fly. Has a man open in the middle of the field. Ball hung up a little bit, gets picked off. It'll serve as a punt, as Tyler Hankerson out of Prairie comes up with the interception. And in a way, if you're...
I just let that one drop.
If you're Lelo Odongo on the far side, you're like, hey, that's cool. You know, if that ball falls incomplete, ball's back at the 30-yard line. Now it's essentially, you know, like I said, it's like a punt. Is for the first time in the game.
But how tempting is that, though?
Oh, you see it up there, you go for it. Especially in an all-star game, get the pick. But now the West, with the ball on their own 37-yard line, this is, when I say by far, I mean by far, their worst field position, and they're out across the 35. Vander Esch again in at quarterback, creeping up, showing blitz. It's the East. Vander Esch will hand off, running back on the move. Gets about back to the line of scrimmage. It's J.D. Furman out of Garden Valley. Garden Valley, long history of producing some good running backs. You go back to the Andy Wagners of the world back in the mid-2000s. Chase Hutchinson back in his day. They've had some great skill athletes at Garden Valley. Is it J.D. Tucker? Was that his name?
Yep. Yeah, his sister was a fantastic athlete as well. His mom was the AD there.
First quarter is over. All West, but hey, that's why we play 4 quarters, right? After 12 minutes at Filer High School. The East-West All-State football game. The West leads the East 20-0 on IdahoSports.com.
You're watching an IdahoSports.com Game Streams production.
Can you see the nutrients? What do they look like? Are you really in there? Mom says they're in there.
With 9 essential nutrients, milk is the most nutritious beverage your kids can drink. Milk, the perfect pour.
As a farmer, my land is my life, my livelihood, and with it comes a sense of pride. That's why I choose AgriService. They share that sense of pride with me. AgriService continues to be the same.
Welcome back to Filer High School. First play of the second quarter. Hand off to the left side. The West on the move. With the carry, that's Devin Krasowski out of Notice, just outside of Caldwell, Idaho.
Mike Krasowski.
We mentioned earlier, you know, these 8-manners that you think, oh, man, they're never going to go play college football. They're never going to do this. They're never going to do that. We mentioned one of the poster children to counter that argument is actually a Notice guy, Chris Horn. Made a name for himself out of a small college in arena football. Got a shot in the NFL with the Kansas City Chiefs. Played himself 2-3 years in the NFL. Not too bad. Third down, about 6. Vander Esch with the snap. This time a sweep coming to the right side. Trying to get to the corner. Breaking 1 tackle, but no more. Is number 8, Dylan Fisher out of Clearwater Valley. In fact, he may have lost about a yard. Good job coming across on pursuit. Sonny Mays out of Hagerman. He was in the neighborhood, as was number 7, Zeke Brown out of Calvary Chapel. Zeke Brown on his questionnaire. We mentioned these guys are filling out questionnaires, so we have a little insight. His future aspirations to be a mountain man.
Everybody has to have a dream.
Hey,
I would be all over it
if that's what you want to do. You know, hey,
there's a lot worse things.
There are a lot of days where all I want to do is go find a mountain cabin and not let the world find me. I think we've all been there at some point. 4th down and 6. Ball just across the 43-yard line. Leighton Vander Esch. Let's see if he punts it here. No, he'll go ahead and throw. Quick slant. He's got a man open. Catch right at the first down marker. That's Tillman. He's into East territory, and he picks up the first down. .6'4", 205. Tillman out of Genesee. You wonder if that's the kind of guy that Paul Petrino, the head coach at the University of Idaho, says, young man, how about you come walk on at my program, see if we can develop you into something. So a first down for the West, back in familiar territory, that being the east end of the field. Vander Esch, the quarterback, back to throw. He's under a little bit of pressure. He's just going to sling it down the field. He's got a man out there. Caught inside the 10 and a touchdown. Stimson got turned around a little bit, chasing Blake Giacchino from Idaho City. And Vander Esch able to deliver a 44-yard touchdown roughly?
I didn't go to math college. I don't know.
Did you go to college?
No. I'm a business owner. You don't have to go to college.
No, you
to go to
don't.
Business.
No, just know how to incorporate an LLC.
S-Corp.
S-Corp,
yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
So we're going to call it about a 44-yard TD from Leighton, Vander Esch to Giacchino. I don't know if it's Giacchino or Diacchino, so if you're watching back up in the Idaho City area, Jason Rover, good old friend of mine, former head coach, now assistant coach, Sean Porter, the head coach. Feel free to let me know so I'm saying it right. 2-point conversion. Cody Self is going to be stopped short and continuing. Caston Holbrook, this young man's having a heck of a game. His team's down 26-0. But, boy, he has played well defensively, made a number of good stops. 10:33 to go here in the second quarter. The West continuing to roll 26-0 here on IdahoSports.com.
Need a healthy, tasty snack? Say cheese.
Will Henneke, Paul Kingsbury back at Filer High School on IdahoSports.com. The all-state football game, 8-man variety high schoolers. All West thus far, 26-0. The East has had some standout performances thus far, though. They're down by 26, but I tell you, Caston Holbrook out of North Gem, boy, he has been terrific so far for the East. Vander Esch out of Salmon River for the West. He has a touchdown run, a touchdown pass, and a touchdown catch, and we're a minute and a half into the second quarter. Now he's ready to kick off. They need to send him back to return either a punt or a kickoff just to see if he can complete the quadfecta, if you will. Kickoff taken around the 5-yard line. Denny on the return, and he gets out across the 30-yard line again. So the East, a little better luck with field position here, but a big problem for the East thus far has, frankly, it's been first down. They've had that 1st and 10, and it's almost routinely turned into 2nd and 15, 2nd and 19, 2nd and 20, as they've had a hard time moving forward as quarterback Logan Bosma has been running for his life a lot against that big defensive front for the West. Paul, a lot of major sponsors making this happen here on IdahoSports.com. Why don't you tell folks who they are?
You know, the United Dairymen of Idaho are title sponsors, Les Schwab Tires, Agri-Service Farm Equipment, Cable One. And, of course, we'll talk a little bit more agri-service as we go along. But, here in the Magic Valley, they do so much for the farmers and ranchers down here.
Hand off to the left-hand side, getting towards the corner and picking up about 6 yards. Good gain on first down. It's Hazen Weber out of Dietrich.
So don't want to forget about Farm Bureau Insurance. That's who I've got my home and auto insurance through. They've served me very well.
And that's one I think that I know when we were looking at that at the website, which you can click on it right now and look at it, they have a lot more agents than I realized.
There's a lot of agents in Idaho. There is.
And it's not just a Twin Falls thing. It's not just a Boise thing. Second down, handoff up the middle, nothing doing there. As Sam Root out of Garden Valley, the Wolverine, just snuffed that play out. And it's going to be 3rd down and 5.
Of course, Will, we have to say thank you to SafeLink Internet for providing our internet here today. They sent a technician out yesterday, day before, hooked up internet for us. That's how we're running here today on the press box.
If I tap this thing, will people be able to hear it?
Yeah, through your mic.
Well, I didn't say how would you hear it.
So, yeah, we're actually I'm going to be meeting with Katie next week. We had lunch 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So we're working with them, seeing if we can work something out with internet across the great state of Idaho. They're all over eastern Idaho, Magic Valley.
We've got a game of tackle football going on behind us, too. We should be simulcasting right now.
You know what we should do? We've got a table set up where we're selling the DVDs and photos. And Coach Ketterling here, the girls basketball coach at Filer, found us Chelsea from the basketball team to sell for us. And
at least she was smart enough to bring an umbrella.
She's all alone down there looking... But yeah, I want to appreciate Kelsey.
I wonder if she's on Facebook right now telling her friends.
This sucks.
No. Come see me.
Well, her friends are all at basketball camp, the girls' basketball team. She wasn't cleared medically to play until, I think, Monday. So she just barely missed the basketball camp.
Where's camp at?
That I didn't ask. I would guess somewhere close by. But so she drew the short straw of helping us today. So
sorry to her, but we do appreciate the assistance. Third down, Bosma back to throw. He'll roll to the right. And again, not much doing. He just does not really have time to set his feet. Mick Wilson in there on the sack. Believe that was also Root again in the neighborhood as they're just pinning back their ears and coming.
You know, the second half, Self's going to be coach. Can I just play defense? I'm done with this offense.
No kidding. So it'll be 4th and 11, 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go here in the second quarter. That score on the bottom of your screen is correct. The West with a 26-0 lead. And they'll actually receive to start the second half, too. So the East here would be well served to pick up a couple of first downs. Bosma under center. And again, the snap count. Throwing off a couple of teammates. Looked like Zeke Brown kind of leaned down onto that second hand. Worst feeling in the world when you play football. When you're a tight end or a tackle or something like that and you're in the three-point stance and you're trying, and the old momentum gets going and you know, you really have two options, and you're going to get a penalty called on you either way. You can either land on your head, or you can throw down your left hand. You've already got the indignity of the penalty.
The penalty.
May as well not fall on your head. So Brown, our mountain man, will come down solo to the left. And now coming over to join him on the left-hand side, it's Hazen Weber as it's 4th down and 17. Logan Bosma back to throw. Jailbreak right up the middle. Bosma trying to get free. Almost did, but then Mick Wilson will come in to finish it off. And the West will take over 1st and 10 on the 15-yard line. And
well, got ourselves a couple emails.
Fire away.
Fire away. From Jason Hansen, Reggie Tillman is going to walk on at University of Montana.
Oh,
this
good.
Is the information we like.
Equally. I mean, that's a great program, the Grizz.
All right, hi guys. Another Luke Joslin fan watching from Dutch Flat, California, about halfway between Reno, Nevada, and Sacramento, California. Thanks for the webcast from Bob Joslin.
So that's kind of up in the hills a little bit, then I would guess. Made that drive not that long ago. 1st and 10, ball on the 16-yard line. The West with it. Leighton, Vander, Esch, play action, rolls, throws, has a man out there. Can he get it to him? It's Tillman just off his hands, incomplete. In coverage for the East, it's Riley Van Leeuwen.
Well, that's how it's done, folks. You can get your email in, webcast at IdahoSports.com. Let us know who you're watching like they did. Let us know where you're watching from.
Now, I got to tell you, Paul.
Go ahead.
You know this. People listening probably don't. My day job, if you will, I'm the voice of the ECHL's Idaho Steelheads. It's a professional hockey team in Boise. The pace of a football game is a little bit slower.
It's a little slower than
that of a hockey game. So I find myself just wanting to keep talking.
Say something.
I could do this. I could do this play hockey style. West out of the huddle. They've got all the linemen. Hands down. Quarterback looking around, trying to find the running back who puts his hand on his hips. Quarterback puts his hands up, takes the snap back to go. Left foot, right foot, under pressure. Looking downfield. He's going to throw it. He's got a man out there heading towards the end zone, and it is a touchdown for the West.
I dare you to do the entire game like that.
I wouldn't survive.
Pass out.
Would not survive. Diakino again on the receiving end of Leighton Vander Esch's second touchdown pass of the game. This one covering about 15 yards. And it is now 32-0 in favor of the West. 7 minutes, 54 seconds to go here in the second quarter. The West will go for 2 here. And if you're wondering when head coach Rob Bafus here for the West is going to send in his backups, he's only got 6 guys on the sideline, and they've been playing.
Yeah. Backups are in.
That's the joy of 8-man football, is taking the short snap, trying to force his way in. Pretty good job there. Did he get it? He did. Good hard run there by Devin Krasowski from Notice. He barrels his way in for the 2-point conversion, as that will make it now a 34-0 football game in favor of the West. You're listening to the 8-man All-Star All-State football game here on IdahoSports.com. We're going to take a quick timeout.
You never have to travel far to find reasons to love Idaho. You'll discover granite peaks that not only take your breath away, but hold it for ransom. And when you live here, beauty like this is yours for the asking. Another unique part of our state that people have come to appreciate is Farm Bureau Insurance. It's not as scenic as Mount McGowan, but just as dependable. Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company of Idaho. We know Idaho. We grew up here.
Will Henneke and Paul Kingsbury back on IdahoSports.com. Hip-hop hooray, 34-0 in favor of the West. The 8-man All-State football game, the West kicking off. Kickoff unit getting a lot of work here, as that one kicked down, picked up by Holbrook right about the 15-yard line. Gets it out across the 20, trying to get towards that right corner. He'll get out across the 20 to about the 24 before he's pulled down. In on the tackle is Josh Moore out of Genesee.
Ran 50 yards for 3.
Again, the joy of 8-man football. There was an Idaho City team. I mentioned Jason Rober a little while ago. Former Idaho City head coach. His brother Ben, who's a former Garden Valley coach, is the sheriff up in Idaho County. But anyway, Jason had himself a pair of running backs. He had Tyrell Nelson, who was about 5'10", 240. Went on to have a pretty good track and field career at Boise State. He also had a young man by the name of Monty Hicks. Hicks ran about a 4.5 40, which in 8-man football may as well be a 2.5 40.
Yeah.
Because you got to the corner, forget it. Every game you'd have 25 carries for 420 yards. East with the ball. They're going to sweep it to the left-hand side. Getting towards the corner, a little bit of room. Turning the corner out across the 50. Woo! And the first down of the game, that's Hazen Weber on the carry from Dietrich. And there you see an example of what speed can do. He got to the corner, picks up about 25 yards.
You know, Will, during halftime, stay tuned because we're going to have a little conversation about the changes coming this year.
We are?
In the 8-man ranks. Yeah,
okay.
Something I'm excited about.
Okay, by conversation, that means you're going to talk and I'm going to listen.
Yeah, once in a while, I'd appreciate a yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll nod.
Okay.
You can't see me nod,
Nodding
but I will.
works well on a broadcast like this.
It does.
Yeah.
The East in West territory for the first time, Logan Bosma. This time they'll try and go right. That's Holbrook. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, turn upfield, pick up about, let's see where they spot it. He picks up about 7 or 8. Arguably the 2 best offensive plays of the game right there for the East team, who, if nothing else, just trying to give those defensive players on the far side a couple of minutes to catch their breath. I'm a little worried here, Paul.
About?
I just noticed there are 2 number 1s on the East roster. One is over there in shorts, and one is on the field.
Well, possibly Cooper. His position's listed as athlete. He's that good.
He's just in, yeah. And, Cooper Estelle out of Dietrich. I'm wondering if that's him on the far side. Handoff up the middle, few yards there, and it'll be a first down. Trying to catch the logo on the helmet. Is that a Dietrich logo? Well, they're both from Dietrich, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Shut up.
Can't really go by, well, I guess.
I may have, and during our next commercial break, you may need to yell down there and say which number 1 is playing. 1st and 10 for the East. Ball at about the 37-yard line. Again, the handoff to Weber. We may need to have you do that sooner than later because he's churning up some yardage, whether it's Weber or Cooper Estelle. Second down, 3 yards to go. Ball on the 30-yard line. Less than 6 minutes to go here in the first half. 8-man all-state football game. The West leading the East 34-0, but the East is on the move. What do you hear?
I think the decision unanimously is just go with Weber on this until we're told different.
Until told otherwise.
We'll all be wrong together, PA. And
amen to that. I don't feel as bad. One receiver to the left. Shotgun for Bosma. Back to throw. Actually has a little bit of time this time. He's going to throw deep downfield. It's intercepted. Leighton Vander Esch on the move, heading towards the right side. If he can get the corner, he's got a shot here. As he's down across the 40, he'll run out of room as Bosma will come and make the tackle. Yeah. A little bit of a late hit there.
Enough of a late hit to draw a flag.
As Devin Fitzsimmons from Murtaugh, I don't know that it was a deliberate late hit, but it was contact definitely well out of bounds. So Vander Esch picks it off, returns it about 70 yards.
Well, there is that coaching box line. Could have confused him as he was looking down at the tackle.
Well, it kind of looked like he was stumbling towards him just in general. And, I mean, that's one of those that a ref's going to call it every time you get contact that far out of bounds, whether you mean to do it or not. You know, you're going to get called for it. So I don't know that it was a deliberate or malicious. No. It certainly was not the most aggressive hit we've ever seen, as both players just kind of stumbling towards one another collided a good 2 steps out of bounds.
You know what I noticed when Vander Esch got that interception? First thing he did wasn't just drop his head and run. He actually stopped, slowed down,
looked around, surveyed the field
a little bit.
I noticed the same thing.
Where's the guys at? Okay, I'll run this way. You know, a lot of guys, they just tuck and run and go.
5 minutes, 1 second to go here in the second quarter. The East's best opportunity of the game thwarted with that interception. Has the West with the ball, a sweep going to the left side. It's J.D. Furman. Now he'll cut back towards the middle. Good pursuit there by the East defense. And the stop is made, getting up off the pile. It's Aaron Kirby out of Rockland. Also in there, number 41, Rashawn Norman out of Dietrich. Also looked like Riley Reynolds out of Castleford was there. Best comment I ever heard about Castleford. A kid named Seth Blick was an all-state player for them, probably around 2003-ish. I think he's an assistant coach there now, if not the head coach. He said whenever people call it Castleford, which is like Rockford,
yeah,
he says you don't drive a Ford, you drive a Ford. Handoff, right side, big hole, touchdown. 20-yard touchdown run over the right side. That's Devin Krasowski out of Notice, and it's now a 40-0 football game.
Not that he's wrong, but to counter that argument, you eat a tuna fish sandwich, but I don't live in Kuna. I live in Cuna. You don't eat a tuna fish sandwich. So that whole spelling.
Tuna and Cuna are two different words.
Yeah,
Ford and Ford are the same. I win.
F-O-R-D.
I win.
U-N-A. You did not win.
Castleford, tuna, Cuna. 2 different words.
That's just 4 different words, if you want to count that.
We do argue like this sometimes on the air. 2-point conversion is good.
Are we on the air?
I don't know. We might have been. We were staring at each other. I don't even know who ran it in, so I apologize.
And I was looking through the screen, so I didn't see.
Oh, my goodness. Let's take a timeout on IdahoSports.com. 4:08 to go here in the first half of play. All West. It's 42-0.
As a farmer, my land is my life, my livelihood, and with it comes a sense of pride. That's why I choose AgriService. They share that sense of pride with me. AgriService continues to be the same great company with the familiar faces I've always trusted, and that will never change. By adding the equipment giants like Challenger, Rogator, and Terragator, they're now everybody's total ag solution. So go visit any of their 10 locations or see them online at agri-service.com. You'll see why they are my #1 equipment dealer.
Will Henneke and Paul Kingsbury back at Filer High School, Filer, Idaho, just outside of Twin Falls.
Just in case you were wondering with the score being 8-man, no, there is no mercy rule in the all-state games. We are here to the finish.
Which the East is, after a bit of a dreadful start, the scoreboard hasn't necessarily gotten a whole lot better, but they were a little better on offense last time as they'll run a reverse off the kickoff. Hazen Weber with it. He'll kind of veer up the middle, play through one tackle.
You run a reverse, you usually run the opposite way, the guy that handed you the ball.
Well, he started to, and then he kind of threw on the brakes and went back the other way. It was Hazen Weber from Dietrich. We believe it was Hazen Weber from Dietrich. Either that or it was Cooper Asso from Dietrich. One of the two, either way. Blue Devil pride on the line there is Dietrich, not all that far from here. One of the District 4 schools represented. Hanson, District 4 school, Lighthouse Christian.
I actually went
Hagerman.
Went and did the Dietrich Salmon River playoff game for football there this last
Yeah, just up the road.
Yeah.
That was the one where you were like in Moscow the night before, right? You're a crazy
no,
man,
I was
by
in
the way.
Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene. Oh, even better. Another hour and a half north. Logan Bosma, the carry. He'll get across the 25-yard line up to about the 28, so he'll pick up a couple.
I'll tell you what happened that night since we have time. I took Troy Oppie with me to do the Capital Coeur d'Alene playoff game. We drove up there into a storm, and immediately after the game we turned around, came home, and right before Plummer, we got stuck at about
Plummer's a town, by the way, if you're not
Yes.
familiar with the geography of Idaho.
Got stuck in the middle of the road because of a wreck that happened because of the snow. 3 hours, middle of the night, in Plummer. So I had to just throw him out of the car at an exit in Middleton and then drive as fast as I could to get to Dietrich for game time at, I think, 1 o'clock or so.
A little bit of a busted play there, nothing doing. As Bosma knocked off his feet by Clint Sandquist down to Troy. Speaking of Troy Oppie. This Troy the town. And we're going to have third down and close to 13 yards to go. So we approach 2.5 minutes to go here in the first half of play.
So as I'm driving back home from Dietrich that night, I was so tired, I wasn't even dozing off. I was basically blacking out. So I called my wife to say, hey, talk to me. After about a minute and a half, she says, hey, honey, I got to go. I'm like, what?
Oh, thank you.
I just told you I
Thank you for that 90 seconds. Screen pass being set up. Pretty well set up, too, as they'll pick up a first down. Good play call there and good execution from the East. As that West pass rush has been in Bosma's face all day long. They try the screen there, and it works. Weber picks up about 15 yards and moves the chains. Play call there. Very well executed, too. And we mentioned when you don't have a ton of time together, sometimes these timing plays like screens, sometimes those can be the hardest to execute, but well executed there by the East to pick up a first down. They'll come out now in an I formation, ball just inside their own 40-yard line as we hit 2 minutes to go in the half. Try and go up the middle. Good job there to battle through some adverse circumstances. There are about 3 white shirts waiting for him. What are you pointing at, Paul? I can't see.
The email bag, Will.
Oh,
the email bag is open. Here we go. Hey, guys, thanks for the webcast. We enjoy watching the game and appreciate it. Shout out to Dylan Fisher from Kuski, from Savannah and Emily are cheering you on.
That's one of those Clearwater Valley towns, right?
Yes, right there, Kuski cul-de-sac, right in there, saying that's from Emily Harding. So Savannah and Emily, shout out to Dylan Fisher. Appreciate that, guys.
Which one's Dylan Fisher? Where is he here? Dylan Fisher. Oh, number 8. Okay.
Get a couple more after this play.
Bosma was trying to communicate with one of his receivers, and his guard, his right-hand guard, kind of lost his momentum a little bit there, fell forward, so it's going to be a false start. So we go from 2nd and 9 to 2nd and 14.
I got one. Shout out to Mick Wilson. Your family and council couldn't be prouder. Thanks a lot, guys.
Heck of a year council had this year. I don't follow the football scene as well as I used to. I do kind of keep track, but council getting as far as they did this year, not a huge shocker. The Lumberjacks are always tough, but I don't know that they were expected to get quite as far as they did. Bosma running for his life. Has a little bit of room. He's going to go ahead and sling it down the field. Got a man open. Good pass. Good catch. Ball across midfield. Still working his way downfield. Finally getting pulled down on the 30-yard line. That is on the East, wearing number 8, Devin Fitzsimmons out of Murtaugh.
Got one last one, Will. My name is Rochelle. I'm watching from Parma, Idaho. Just wanted to let you know Devin will be playing for College of Idaho come the fall. It's Devin Krasowski.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'm actually wearing a College of Idaho ball cap right now. Coach Mike Morawski, he's been doing a lot of, shall we say, mining the Idaho talent.
Which I love.
For his inaugural football team in Caldwell coming up this fall. Bosma with a handoff, trying to get outside, nothing doing. So throwing on the brakes and just putting his head down and getting what he can on the play is Caston Holbrook. And the answer is not a whole heck of a lot. And in on the tackle, Dylan Fisher. As we've got a whistle with 21 seconds to go here in the first half. East will call the timeout here, so you got to figure the ball right around the 31, 32-yard line. They're going to at least take a couple of shots, I would assume, down the field here.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hey, right?
I would.
42-0 in favor of the West.
As we're sneaking up on halftime, don't forget you can order your copy of this game on DVD, as well as order some great photo packages. Just click that banner there at the top of your webcast player. See what there is that you like, and you can order right there. Nice and easy. We've got two of our best photographers here on the sidelines, Kelly McGee and Steve Connor down here.
If you want something else very unique, Paul has SPF 8 sunblock, which, you know, normally they say wear like SPF 50.
Yeah, if you're a baby.
So I think SPF 8 would be like a magnifying glass. It accelerates the sunburn.
Maybe on you.
Way to take care of your staff here, Paul.
Captain Fairskin over there.
Oh, it's not too bad. I've got a little Native American history in my past, so I can, in my family tree.
Way in the past.
Oh, not that far. Just one generation. You either needed to be 1/16th or 1/32nd to get scholarships, and whichever it was.
You weren't?
I was one off of it. Second down, 12, ball at the West's 32-yard line. East with the ball. Logan Bosma has it knocked free as it was a low snap fumble, and it's going to be recovered by the West. Diving in there to pick it up for the West looked like Tyler Hankerson out of Prairie. And once again, the East able to move down the field a bit, aided by a nice pass and catch combo from Bosma to Devin Fitzsimmons. But they'll turn the ball over on the fumble with 17 seconds left to go in the first half here. And it looks like the West will just take a knee here and get us into that halftime right where we're at, as Vander Esch will turn around, take that knee, hand the ball to our referee, and that'll do it for the first half of play. The West, a very successful first half of play, as Leighton Vander Esch with a touchdown run, touchdown pass, touchdown catch, and an interception, all in the first half. Not bad for our state 1A football player of the year. 42-0, the West with the lead. We'll be back with your halftime report on IdahoSports.com right after this.
You're watching an IdahoSports.com game streams production of Idaho High School Sports. Enjoy the game.
Can you see the nutrients? What do they look like? Are you really in there? Mom says they're in there.
With 9 essential nutrients, milk is the most nutritious beverage your kids can drink. Milk, the perfect pour.
As a farmer, my land is my life, my livelihood, and with it comes a sense of pride. That's why I choose AgriService. They share that sense of pride with me. AgriService continues to be the same great company with the familiar faces I've always trusted, and that will never change. By adding the equipment giants like Challenger, Rogator, and Terragator, they're now everybody's total ag solution. So go visit any of their 10 locations or see them online at agri-service.com. You'll see why they are my #1 equipment dealer.
The breed became part of our culture when the Nez Perce adopted it in the 1700s. It was called a Palouse horse. Today, horse enthusiasts call our state horse the Appaloosa, and reason to
Will Henneke, Paul Kingsbury back on IdahoSports.com. It's the All-State football game, the 8-man high school game going on right now. The West leading the East 42-0. Quick score recap here to get you going. Well, it's not really that quick by virtue of the fact that it's 42-0. First quarter, after East went 3 and out, the West drives down short field. Leighton Vander Esch out of Salmon River and Riggins, 8-yard touchdown run, made it 6-0. Next time the East had the ball, Cody Self out of Troy, Idaho with the interception. 40-yard return for a touchdown. It was 12-0. After they got the ball back from the East again, the West on the move. This time it was the old throwback play. Vander Esch hands off to Self. Self throws on the brakes, throws it back to Vander Esch. It was actually covered pretty well by the East. But Leighton Vander Esch, 6'4", and a heck of a jumper at that.
Yeah.
Used his athletic ability to make the catch, 2-point conversion good. It was 20-0 after 1 quarter of play. Second quarter, a couple of touchdown passes from Vander Esch to Blake Diakino out of Idaho City. Made it 26 and then 34-0. And then late in the second quarter, it was Notice High School's Devin Krasowski, a 20-yard touchdown run. He's headed to the College of Idaho to play football. That made it 42-0. And that is where we stand here at halftime. It's a bit of an ugly score, but a couple of guys on the East definitely merit some kudos for their play in the first half. Caston Holbrook out of North Gem has been everywhere. He wears number 6 in yellow. He's had a tremendous first half. And Hazen Weber out of Dietrich, couple of nice runs as well as the East offense, coached by Lalo Hidalgo, kind of got their feet under them a little bit there in the latter stages of the second period. A goal line interception by Leighton Vander Esch thwarting one drive, and then there right before the half, a low snap turned into a fumble that thwarted the other drive. So the East able to move the ball a little bit in the second quarter, just not able to finish off any drives to this point. So 42-0 the score. There is no mercy rule. We'll be playing this one out, those of you familiar with 8-man football. We're going to take a timeout here on IdahoSports.com. This game stream presented by the United Dairymen of Idaho. When we come back, we'll talk about some changes coming up to 8-man football here in the Gem State. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the All-State 8-man football game from Filer High School in Idaho on IdahoSports.com. We'll be right back.
Last year, over 600 Idaho high school athletes suffered concussions during practices or games.
Coaches and athletic directors throughout Idaho have received training to identify concussions, recognizing an injured student and keeping them from returning to the game when necessary.
We are asking parents to be aware of concussion symptoms.
Blurred vision, frequent headaches, and disorientation. Contact your family's doctor or your child's coach. Please join us in keeping concussions out of high school sports. Join us!
When you decide to quit using tobacco, we'll show you how. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW or go to quitnow.net/Idaho. A message from Project Filter.
Welcome back to Filer High School, home of the Wildcats, 3A school here in the state of Idaho, hosting today's events. The 8-man All-State football game, followed by the 7th grade All-State football game, and then capping the day with a third game, the 8th grade All-State game. Stay here on IdahoSports.com for all 3 games. Will Henneke with you along with Paul Kingsbury. The 8-man game, we are at halftime. The West up big on the East. It's 42-0. And Paul, in years past, as long as I've been covering high school athletics in this state, which dates back to 1997, when from 1997 to 2006, I worked at KIVI Channel 6 in Boise, did a ton of high school coverage. The thing you didn't want to have happen is to be going to an 8-man football game and get there after halftime and look up and see the score at 45-0, because that's when your mercy rule would come in and the game would just be over.
Right.
And it was always a point of contention with parents and with coaches. You know, how do I make sure my starters get their playing time but my backups get their game experience? And, you know, I don't necessarily want to run up the score, but I got to make sure my kids get playing time. And parents wanting to make sure their kids get their playing time, but the game's over at halftime or into the early third quarter. It was a problem, and there was never really a great solution. But the Idaho High School Activities Association, they've made a change, and there will be some different things happening this year.
I think it was 2 board meetings ago, I believe, somewhere over the winter, that they changed the from having the flat-out mercy rule to end the game. There'll be a running clock instead, which I am a huge fan of. I'm very happy they did this for the reasons that you just explained. You've got all these kids. Well, I guess it's 8-man football, so not a lot of kids.
Well, but I mean, almost every team out there, you know, even your smallest of the smalls, you know, your 1A Division IIs,
right?
They may only have 12 kids on the team, but maybe 4 of them are 9th graders.
Exactly.
Where 3 of them don't get to play that.
But I've also seen 8-man teams that have more kids than your
3A
team. So
there were some years. Kendrick, I know they've had some years, and Oakley, they've had some years where they've had 35 kids on the team.
Yeah, and Oakley's 2A now, and they actually lost kids when they went 2A. Anyway, back to our point is you have all these kids that are coming up through your program. You're playing your starters, and obviously you have very good starters because they're up, 35, 45 points in a short amount of time. Well, how do you groom these kids coming up to be, part of the program when the games are over after
and
2 or 3
reward
quarters?
them because they're putting in their time and practice as well.
Right, and the only reason the starters are so good is because they're practicing against quality players. 4 other days of the week during practice. So this running clock throughout the rest of the game is going to allow your non-starters a lot more playing time on both sides of the field. It's going to give the parents satisfaction. It's going to give the kids more confidence, more self-esteem as they go in playing, instead of, I didn't start, so I didn't even really get in the game. Where now they're going to play 1.5, 2 quarters possibly.
Sure.
And so that's going to make the programs better overall as we go down the road. And sometimes you look at the stats for these 8-man kids, and they're like quarterbacks, like Vander Esch. You look at his overall stats, and they're massive. And then you think he probably only played 2 quarters sometimes.
Yeah.
How much more would they be? But then you look at the next year, if you can get a quarterback coming in that's played really just as much time as your starting quarterback sometimes, how much better is that going to make 8-man football?
Because a lot of these 8-man programs, they don't have junior varsities. They obviously don't have freshman programs.
Right.
So it's an opportunity for these kids to play more. And I remember talking to some parents and also athletic director Randy Jewett at Camas County up in Fairfield at one point, and they were telling me one year, I'm not going to identify the year because it's not fair, where they had a pretty good team, but they knew, hey, this is it.
Yep.
Next year it's going to be a little bit rough. And he said, for the football coaches, how do you outweigh the benefits of, hey, I've got a good team versus I've got to get some of these younger kids experience, because basically, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, 7 of the 8 kids who played were all seniors. And then you had a couple of sophomores, a couple of freshmen, who, really didn't do much more than carry the water bottles.
Right.
And he's like, we've got to get these kids some game experience. How do we do it?
Right.
And this seems to be a pretty viable alternative.
Yeah, and no one wants to sit and watch an entire half of blowout football. I mean, no one wants that. On either team, the stands, nobody, especially when we're broadcasting. Since we don't have a dog in the fight, it gets really, really bad.
It can be tough,
keeping
sure.
this running clock, it's a fantastic alternative.
It's 24 minutes of essentially actual time.
Yeah, I mean, the only time it stops is after a score. And at quarters.
Yeah, it might. You might literally
if I remember correctly.
You might literally have another half hour.
Yeah.
And as a coach, you're getting some valuable experience for younger players. As a parent, you're getting to see your kid play more either way.
Yeah.
Whether he's a starter that plays all the way up until halftime into the third quarter, or whether your son or he's the freshman who doesn't get a lot of playing time, or the sophomore that doesn't get a lot of playing time. He's at least going to find his way onto the field a little bit more and get some practical game experience.
Well, don't forget, you can join Idaho Sports Nation by friending us on, I guess it's liking on Facebook now, and following us on Twitter. You can click the buttons right there at the bottom of the webcast player right now. It's at Idaho Sports and Facebook.com/IdahoSports.
Feel free to hit us up on Twitter. If the email thing isn't working, feel free to hit us up on Twitter. Let us know where you're tuned in tonight, or
during
it's 11 o'clock in the morning.
During state tournaments, we get that a lot. We get a lot of Facebook and Twitter shout-outs as well. So hit us up, webcast at IdahoSports.com. Want to get your email read on the air. We've had a couple of those already, and I think we've got another one real quick if I can get it in real. Okay, Leslie and Dave Wilson in Redding, California, watching their grandson, Mick Wilson.
There you go. Grandma and Grandpa love that.
There you go. That's how you do it. Webcast at IdahoSports.com as we start the third quarter.
The East will kick off. Their first time kicking off in the game. They'll be kicking off left to right. Deep to receive for the West. Krasowski's back there. And the kick is headed his way. He'll flag it down at about the 5-yard line, running from right to left. Veers to the right side. Pretty big block. Krasowski with some room right around midfield. He's going to be run out. He did get into East territory as Bosma, the quarterback, is in there. Also Devin Fitzsimmons. Those two hooked up on a big pass play for the East late in the first half. And they combine on the tackle there as Krasowski, as we mentioned earlier, headed to the College of Idaho, starting up their football program after about 30 years off. Tell you what, they budgeted for X number of season tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Blew by it in the first day.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Good for them.
Had to open up a whole nother section of season tickets. So folks are excited to have small school football back here in the state of Idaho. You know who's not excited about it? Eastern Oregon University.
Oh, I'm sure they got a lot of kids.
They used to come in here. They'd get 5 kids out of Idaho per year. First down, Krasowski with a handoff. He's going to get tackled. He does pick up a few, but he's tackled after a short game by Caston Holbrook out of North Gem, who I'd say fairly easily. Holbrook right now, if we're picking an MVP per side, which let's do that. Let's pick one from each side. Holbrook right now has got to be your runaway guy from the East. From the West, you've got a couple of options. Vander Esch has had a great game so far. Touchdown run, touchdown reception, 2 touchdown passes, also has an interception. Cody Self, he's had a nice game. Mick Wilson, he's had a nice game as well. I formation behind Vander Esch. He's headed to Boise State to play football. He'll hand off to Krasowski, cuts inside, tackle there. First down, but Aaron Kirby out of Rockland on the tackle. Good hard run there by Krasowski as Kirby had him right about the first down marker. And Krasowski pulled him for about another 3-4 yards. Riley Reynolds from Castleford also in on the stop. 1st and 10, ball just inside the 30-yard line, just underway here in the third quarter. 42-0 in favor of the West, and the West on the move again. Lining up at right defensive end, Blake Bell from Hagerman. First time we've called his name for the East. Sweep coming to the left-hand side. Furman cuts inside, has a little bit of room. Then gets wrestled to the ground, in on the tackle. Morgan Johnson from Mackey. Also there, Wasey Erickson out of Raft River. Is that the A-team theme I just heard?
That is the A-team theme. Matt Wiliams, the organizer of this event, calling me. Hey, Matt, a little busy.
We're on the air, pal.
Go ahead and shoot me a text.
I wonder if he had one of those moments where he's like, oh, yeah, might be busy.
Luckily, I have an auto response that I can just, because it happens a lot.
You always do that to me. Your auto response is, I don't want to talk to you.
I do have a special one set up for you. There he goes. Sent me a text.
2nd down, 6, ball at the 25-yard line. 9 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Cody Self from Troy. He'll take the snap at quarterback out of the deep shotgun. One hands the snap under some pressure. Throws it down the middle. Nearly picked off. Good break on the play there by Caden Stimpson out of Hanson. Nearby Hanson. Not that far from us at all here.
Huskies.
Yep. Hanson, Murtaugh, Dietrich, Hagerman, Lighthouse Christian, all from right here in the Magic Valley. So I would imagine a lot of the crowd, we've got probably, what, a couple hundred people here?
Yeah,
at least.
So.
I would venture to say a lot of them sitting right down in front of us here are probably fans of those young men here. Saw there's a couple of Notice shirts down to my left. Saw an Idaho City shirt a couple of moments ago. So good to see those fans making the trek down here to Filer to watch today's game. Self will again take the snap. Drops, still dropping. Now will roll to the right, getting pressured by Riley Reynolds. Throws it up. Again, pretty good coverage, but the ball is caught. No, they're going to... Did he catch it or not? They're talking touchdown. And it's Leighton Vander Esch. At first, I think they were trying to figure out, A, did he catch it? It was right along the pylon on the right sideline. Did he catch it? Did he come down with it inbounds? And B, was he in the end zone? And the answer to both questions is yes. So we've got a touchdown pass of about 30 yards from Cody Self to Vander Esch as those two continue their game. Self to V-E. Not writing his whole name anymore. That ups the score to 48-0, 8:39 to go here in the third quarter of play. And once again going for the 2-point conversion. And this isn't a run-up-the-score thing. It's a we don't have a kicker thing.
Yeah.
Vander Esch right under center. Backs in an I formation. We'll hand it off to J.D. Furman. He'll just lower his shoulder and power his way in for the 2-point conversion. 8:39 to go here. Third quarter of play from Filer High School in Filer, Idaho. You're watching the Idaho All-State 8-man football game. Idaho West leading Idaho East. It's 50-0. We'll be right back.
The breed became part of our culture when the Nez Perce adopted it in the 1700s. It was called the Palouse horse. Today, horse enthusiasts call our state horse the Appaloosa, and reason to love Idaho number 27. Their remarkable spirit reminds us of all those things we embrace about Idaho. Another part of Idaho's landscape that Idaho's families have embraced for over 60 years is Farm Bureau Insurance. Farm Bureau Insurance.
This is our DSL-orator. Our internet from the phone company is just too slow. We try to stream movies, but all we get is this.
And kids just have all this natural energy anyway. Or you could get Cable One high-speed internet. It's 10 times faster than DSL.
So super speed means super streaming.
I'm okay.
Good hustle there, sport.
Cable One, it's just common sense.
Kickoff down the right-hand side, kind of sand wedges, and then turns and rolls out of bounds. And the East will take over. I believe it's at the 35, correct, Paul?
Yes.
A couple of players on the roster whose names I haven't called, and as I look across the way, I don't see Wyatt Tracy from Calvary Chapel. I know they announced him, but I have not seen a number 2 on the field, and I do not see a number 2 across the way. So I don't know if Wyatt Tracy is here or not.
Maybe since Calvary Chapel doesn't exist anymore, they said, sorry, son, you can't come.
There we go. We just got mentioned.
Woo woo.
Any other names I haven't said yet? I want to make sure everybody's Sonny Mays from Hagerman, number 57. Also playing for the East. I have seen a 57 out there. Maybe out there right now. No, he's not.
Of course, Calvary Chapel is now Water Springs School.
East coming to the line, ball at their own 35-yard line, 8:39 to go here in the third quarter of play.
IdahoSports.com in favor of the West. The East has had a lot of trouble getting things going, but their offense has shown some signs here of late. Going to try, it looks like a double pass here. Throwing it down the middle. Bosma was open, but the ball a little bit overthrown. So Lalo Hidalgo goes to his book of tricks a little bit. Had an open man, but Hazen Weber's pass a little bit too tall, intended for quarterback Logan Bosma. And it's not, Logan Bosma obviously a whale of an athlete, but it's not that difficult to overthrow him. 5'9", 145 pounds. He's not the full-size oak tree. He's like the little peach tree.
Nothing wrong with being 5'9".
No, there's not. One day you'll get there too, Paul.
One day I will.
Bosma in the shotgun, 2 receivers to the right. Zeke Brown getting in position. Fitzsimmons in motion. He'll take the handoff to the left, trying to get to the edge. Has to cut inside one, around another. Has a little bit of room. Will pick up a first down. Good run there by Devin Fitzsimmons out of Murtaugh. He's a little bit bigger, 6'3".
I have him beat on the 145, though.
Yes, you do. I've got the 6'3" thing down, and I've also got him beat on the, let's see, what do they list him at? 190? Whew. Yeah. I kicked his butt on the 190.
By a good Volkswagen Beetle.
Maybe not a full Beetle. if it's a convertible, maybe.
Okay, maybe.
1st and 10 near midfield. Bosma, toss sweep to the right-hand side. Weber trying to get to the corner. Cuts down around the 45-yard line. Good hard run there. Hankerson in on the tackle along with Vander Esch for the West. So a first down gain of about 8 yards. And Hazen Weber, the East, as they've settled things down a little bit here after their rough start, where they have done a lot of their damage has been to the edges, which, frankly, in the 8-man game, that's where you do a lot of your damage. But they found a little bit of room on the edges, and a lot of it for your linebackers and your defensive ends is creating some sort of containment. And if the offense can bust that contain, look out. Bosma, pass complete to the left flat, trying to cut near a first down and not quite getting there. Is number 3, Adam Denny. Good tackle on the play by Blake Diakino. And we go back to the inbox. Paul, we're popular fellas today.
Well, we're not, but tell you who is. Luke Joslin got his own little fan club out there.
I'll tell you. We got to get a good shot of Luke Joslin out there. What number is he wearing? He's wearing number 52.
Number 52.
We got to find him and make sure we get it. Oh, he's standing right here. He's out on this series.
Okay, we'll read this, then we'll get on him. It says, way to play together, boys of the West. Luke Joslin, number 52, from Deary High School, loves to play football, and it's showing you're a team player. He'll be attending U of I studying renewable materials. Have fun, Julian Joslin from Beauville, Idaho.
Nice. 3rd down and 2. Bosma will keep. He'll call his own number, just get up under center and pick up a first down to the 40-yard line. So for the 3rd consecutive possession, the East moving the ball a bit. And they've these last 3 drives, they've gotten the ball inside the 40-yard line. They've turned it over twice. You'd like to see him punch one in the end zone here, break up that goose egg. As we're halfway through the 3rd quarter, the West with a 50-0 lead. 50, that's a 5-0, just in case. Logan Bosma's gone the distance at quarterback for the East. Spent the better part of the 1st quarter running for his life. Low snap, he'll pick it up and not get very far as it kind of bounced to him. Looked like Mick Wilson in on the tackle. Also there's Sam Root out of Garden Valley. Root has had a good game defensively. He's spent a lot of time in that East backfield. You look behind us here, and it's kind of one of those picturesque, what's the movie Kevin Costner, Dances with Wolves.
Oh.
When he's kind of riding on the prairie and you see all the grass waving in the breeze. When we have a moment, I'll have Paul. We're on top of the press box. That's why you're hearing all the wind. We'll have Paul kind of turn the camera around and show you what's behind us here.
Brought to you by the Filer Chamber of Commerce.
Bosma under pressure, trying to step up the middle, gets away from Root that time, flips it out. Good little one-hand catch, but he was on a knee. Fitzsimmons was when he made the catch. So they managed to pick up a few yards, avoiding the sack, which
Bosma, if nothing else, has shown that he's able to move around in the pocket and avoid some trouble. As he completes that one to Fitzsimmons, 6'3", 390-pounder. That'll bring up 3rd down and 8. Ball at the 38. 4.5 minutes and counting here in the third quarter. The West leading the East, but the East on the move. Again, trips to the right-hand side. A version of trips, I should say. Bosma back, looking around. He's going to go ahead and let one fly. He's looking for Fitzsimmons. He, couldn't quite pull it in. Good defensive play by Logan Vander Esch as he pulled it free. And he's a little bit slow getting up. Might have just knocked his wind a little bit. And it'll be 4th down and 8 yards to go. Bosma just laid that one out there, and there were 2 tall cookies in the neighborhood. Fitzsimmons went up for it along with Vander Esch, and Vander Esch able to just knock it out of Fitzsimmons' hands down around the 10-yard line. So 4th and 8, ball on the 38. Let's see if the East can keep this drive alive here, as it looks like we're just going to have a running clock here in the second half of this one, as the clock runs even after the incomplete pass. Bosma at quarterback. Drops to throw. Rush up the middle. Good job by Bosma to avoid it. Trying to find somewhere to go and really nothing doing. Mick Wilson will push him down back at about the 41-yard line, and we'll have a turnover. Bosma prolonged that play as long as he could, but really no one open. Mick Wilson will get credit for the sack, and the West will take over. For the moment, Vander Esch remains on the sideline, as we've seen Cody Self spend a little time at quarterback, and I'd imagine that would remain the case here.
Yeah.
And Luke Joslin on the field right now. No, we've got a couple people tuned in to watch him. So number 52 there at left guard out of Deary. Lining up next to the center, Josh Moore out of Genesee. And can you tell who that is at right guard? It looks like Jacob Oatman out of Kamei. So it's an all-District 2 offensive line. Self back to throw, a little bit of pressure. We'll head up the middle. Good job there by a couple of players. Well, 3 really. Blake Bell from Hagerman in the neighborhood. Also in the area, Wasey Erickson out of Raft River, but the tackle once again, Caston Holbrook. .321, clock rolling. 50-0 in favor of the West.
It looks like they've implemented the new.
Yeah, the clock's running. The clock is running. We got the questionnaire here on Luke Joslin. Said he would like to try and play football at the University of Idaho. Likes being outdoors. Who doesn't, though, man? You got to love that. Here comes Krasowski to the left. Cuts back behind a pretty good block there. Getting out in front of the play and creating a little bit of space was Oatman out of Kamei. Krasowski picks up a few. It'll be 3rd down.
You know, down
Mick Wilson, we talked about Krasowski going to the College of Idaho. Mick Wilson is actually going to Eastern Oregon University. Says he's going to try and play football there.
You know, one of the questions we ask is, are you related to anybody famous? And every year we have William Wallace up here, Braveheart. We have two people in between the 3 games today.
They're related to Mel Gibson?
I believe the actual William Wallace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think Mel Gibson's one of those guys you don't admit anymore if you're related to him.
Mel who? I don't know what you're talking about.
Hand off to Furman. Ball's loose, picked up by the East. It's recovered. There's our mountain man on the recovery. Zeke Brown, fumble caused by Caston Holbrook. The East recovers. First turnover of the game for the West, and the East will get great field position. Yeah. Ball inside the 45-yard line as they'll go back on offense here. Less than 2 minutes to go. So it looks like they're stopping the clock at possession. Possession changes. But the East will take over. Still looking for that first score. Paul looking for H.M. Murdoch on his phone.
Just telling people, hey, I can't answer the phone.
Howling mad. It's a great show.
You mean B.A.?
B.A. Baracus.
Yeah.
Howling Mad Murdoch.
That's true.
Face.
Gotta love. Which one? Face 1 or Face 2? They changed him like mid-season.
Well, Dirk Benedict, way better.
Yeah.
Sweep to the left side. It's Weber again. Doesn't have a first down, but does have a nice bit of yardage there. Good tackle on the far side by Cody Self.
Of course, Hannibal, George Papard. Love it when a plan comes
John
together.
Smith. They were accused of a crime they didn't. No, that was Bill Banner or Bill Bixby. Bruce Banner. Some variation of those BBs. Second down. Let's call it 3. Ball on the 36-yard line. Sweep coming to the right-hand side. Holbrook trying to get to the edge. Good job getting out in front of the play. It's Hazen Weber just pushing somebody far enough to give Holbrook room to cut back and pick up the first down. So the East, again, it's not going to reflect it in the score. It's really not. But the East, after a really rough start, they've gotten better.
Yeah.
They just...
like you said, it's playing together, learning, the tendencies of one another.
And not having a team against you that's all 6'2", 220 pounds.
Well, there is that, too.
Lining up over the ball, the center, it's Aaron Kirby out of Rockland. Handoff, ball comes loose. And it's going to be recovered by the West.
Wah, wah.
Diving in on it, it's Leighton Vander Esch. Why do I keep saying Logan?
Well, I can think of a few reasons that I can't say on air.
Other than I'm not good at what I do?
Well, there is that, too. But you were a second string today.
Yeah, I was the fallback option. Story of my life. Sarah would say the same thing.
No other good offers came through.
Yep, I was the player to be named later.
All right. Come on, Will.
Turnover, the West will take over right at their own 30-yard line. This will be the last play of a very rapid third quarter. 50-0 the score. Leighton Vander Esch back in. He's in the shotgun. Furman in motion. He'll get the handoff, sweeping to the right. Caston Holbrook right there, and he'll make the tackle. What would you say that is for him? Probably at least a dozen tackles.
Oh, at least. Closer to 15, maybe.
And 3 or 4 of them have been for a loss. He's been very, very good. Caston Holbrook out of North Gem.
Making his play for the player of the game.
He is. That's it for the third quarter of play. 3 down, 1 to go here at Filer High School, the 8-man all-state football game. The West leads the East 50-0. We'll take a quick time out here on IdahoSports.com, brought to you by the United Dairymen of Idaho.
Did you know you'd have to eat 10 cups of raw spinach to absorb the same amount of calcium that you get from drinking 1 cup of milk? Amazing. Milk. No other food is equal.
Back on IdahoSports.com, Will Henneke with you, along with Paul Kingsbury. We're ready to go to the fourth quarter here. The West leading the East 50-0 in the 8-man All-State football game. Coming up next, it'll be the 7th grade All-State football game at 1 o'clock, followed at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock?
1 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock is the 8th grade All-State football game.
And there are some boys there that when we're watching the 8th grade,
big kids.
It looks like a high school varsity football game.
There's some big kids. West with the ball, just inside their own 30. Hand off to Krasowski. He has a touchdown run in the game. He's out across the 30. Picks up a first down. We got some of these questionnaires. We want to get through some of these things. Number 13 for the East, so in yellow. He's on the sideline right now looking across at him. Aaron Kirby out of Rockland. He's one of those 4-name guys. Aaron Thomas Atonga Vaia. Atonga Vaia Kirby. That is his name.
All right.
Aaron Thomas Atonga Vaia Kirby. Number 13. I hope he doesn't put both Atonga Vaia as the handoff to the left side. Not much doing for Krasowski. It'll be 4th down. If he puts both those on his jerseys, he's another one that is going to go play college football.
Goes down his sleeves.
Yeah, at the College of Idaho. They They might have to start around his elbows.
Yeah.
Work it all the way around. But he'll be playing college football next year at the College of Idaho.
There's actually a player for one of the 7th or 8th grade teams from Hawaii who, seriously, his name is about this long, and he didn't give us the courtesy of a pronunciation.
We'll be making it up then. He'll be Johnson.
It's hopefully they have a nickname like Tim or something for him.
Kirby said he doesn't plan on playing pro football, but hey, if the opportunity arises, why not?
If the Broncos come knocking.
Yeah, who's going to turn him down? 4th down, 6 to go. Leighton Vander Esch to throw. Has a man open. Pass complete. And that'll keep the drive going. Is in on the reception is Reggie Tillman. We mentioned Tillman walking on next year at the University of Montana in the Big Sky Conference. And as you'd expect for somebody from Genesee, if you're familiar with the location of Genesee, the geography of the state, he's a young man who's interested in a career in agriculture.
Very nice. Up there on the Palouse.
Yep.
The black soil. I love driving through there, and just always looks nice.
First down. Ball just inside midfield. Well, it's just across the 45. For the West, they have 3 receivers to the near side. Cody Self in the shotgun. Leighton Vander Esch, the slot receiver. Self, avoiding the rush, steps inside 1, cuts to the left, has some room. 40, 35-30, 25-20. He could score. Coming down, chasing him down, stepping out of the tackle. Great effort by Cody Self. He goes 54, 53 yards, and it's a touchdown. Chasing him all the way down the field, Wasey Erickson nearly had the tackle, but stepping out of it somehow was Self. 53 yards for the score, and that makes it 56-0. See, here's a problem, Paul. Cody Self keeps putting himself in the conversation for player of the game from the West.
Yeah.
Because now he's got a touchdown pass, he's got a touchdown run, he's got 2 touchdown passes, a touchdown run, and an interception return for a touchdown. Looking for the 2-point conversion. Great catch by Vander Esch. Again, using every bit of that 6'4" frame. And man, that's got to be the most frustrating thing in the world. You look at Zeke Brown down there, you look at Caston Holbrook, you got the play covered perfectly. And the play is just throw it up as high as you can and let your 6'4" guy go get it.
Yeah, usually that's a play in basketball. You just kind of throw it in the middle, let your 6'8" guy go up and get it. In the end zone, works just as well.
So with that 2-point conversion, Self to Vander Esch, the score is now 58-0, 9:17 to go here in the 4th quarter of play. Wanted to take an opportunity to again thank SafeLink Wireless Internet for providing our internet service here. Came out, put up a little dish for us.
They are all over here in the Magic Valley, all the way, basically, like you said, from Vail up to Rexburg. Anywhere around that horn, you're good to go.
Give them a call. A little more here on some of our guys playing in tonight's game. Morgan Johnson out of Mackey High School, when asked his most memorable moment in the game, rushing for more than 250 yards along with my brother Trevor against Rockland. It's a pretty good family game.
Not bad.
He's one of 6 siblings, and when he was asked if you want to play college football, where? And his answer is, and I quote, yes, wherever there is football.
So don't go to
Northwest Nazarene.
No.
Kickoff, bouncing around, picked up by Devin Fitzsimmons. Has a lane up the right-hand side. A lot of room all the way out near midfield before he's finally upended. Vander Esch in on the tackle, along with number 8, Dylan Fisher, out of Clearwater Valley, but a good return for Fitzsimmons, who also has had himself a decent little football game for the East. You want to see him get on the board here. 8:54 to go in the 4th. It's been a rough afternoon for the East as they trail 58-0. Have the ball right around midfield. Let's get one in the end zone. Let's punch one in here.
Just one, yeah.
And they've had some drives. They've moved the ball. They The 25-yard line is their kryptonite. They seem to get in range of it, and all of a sudden the ball becomes a lot tougher to hold on to. Bosma moving around some troops. Has two receivers to the right, one to the left. He's in a shotgun. Will take the snap. Swings it towards the right. That might be backwards, and they're going to say incomplete. I think that if we had instant replay in this game, I think that might have been overturned there. I think that might have gone backwards. Yeah. But in a 58-0 game, I don't know that anybody's going to...
Don't argue.
They're not going to squabble too much. But I'll tell you, a guy who was hoping that it was a fumble was Clint Sandquist, as he was right there on the spot to recover it.
Tell you what, I'm going to talk to Matt about next year for these games. We need pep bands and cheerleaders.
I think pep bands always add something. A good drum line.
Yep.
I agree. At a football game, to a certain degree, a football game feels more like a football game with some sort of a pep band.
With some final countdown playing.
Louie.
Yeah.
So 2nd down and 10 to go. Ball just inside midfield for the East. 7:45 and counting here in the final frame. East just looking to get on the board here. Two receivers to the right, one back in the backfield next to Logan Bosma out of Lighthouse Christian. One receiver to the left. Bosma picks up the bouncing snap. Again, running for his life. Trying to get to the outside, does so. Has some room. Tuck it and run across midfield. Down to the 40, down near the 35. He'll step out of bounds just short of the 30-yard line. Good run from Logan Bosma as he'll easily pick up a first down. And once again, the East is in West territory, getting around that 30-yard line, but again, about the 25-30, that's where we've had some problems. That's where the ball's gotten a little bit slippery. 7 minutes to go here in the fourth. Tremendous showing from the west.
Tremendous wind blowing from the west.
Yes, directly at my back. So if I were to kick, I could probably put it off the roof of the gym. Bosma back to throw. He's going to look way downfield. He's looking for Fitzsimmons, a little bit overthrown. Good coverage from Self on that play. I really like this Self kid. He's somebody, being a District 3 guy, which I am, out of Boise, we don't get too many opportunities to see the Prairies and the Dearies and the Troys of the world. So you hear these names, you never get to see him play. See this kid play. He can play a bit. Wonder if he's going to try and play football anywhere. Maybe Mike Morawski or one of his staff members at College of Idaho watching our webcast here, looking for maybe a late addition or two to the recruiting class, maybe number 15 in the white. Bosma back to throw, looking for the slant. Good catch, good hit as well. Right about the first down marker. Let's see if he got enough. It's Fitzsimmons.
Give him the benefit of the
Self
doubt.
on the hit, and they're going to say it's about a half a yard short, so it'll be 3rd and in fact, almost a full yard to go for the first down with 6 minutes to go here in the third. But that's one of those plays you just chalk it down. Good play all around. Bosma, well protected, good delivery, good catch, and a good tackle, good sure tackle. So 3rd and not very much. Brown the lone setback. Bosma will take it. He'll just go ahead and spin ahead, and he'll have the first down as he gets inside the 20-yard line. I believe, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, 5.5 minutes to go in the fourth. This is the first official trip into the red zone for the East. They've been close, but they seem to run into trouble around the 25-yard line, but they are inside the 20. First down, 10 yards to go at the 18. 17, call it the 17.
If not the first, it's one of a few.
The East will break the huddle. Coming up and settling in over the ball at center, Riley Reynolds out of Castleford. Flanked on his left by Riley Van Leeuwen out of Murtaugh. Bosma back to throw, has some time, throws the out route, and it's a good coverage there by Self as he'll tip it away from Devin Fitzsimmons. I'm telling you, the more and more I watch this Self kid, you and I are going to have like a rock, paper, scissors. Self or Vander Esch for player of the game from the West. I think from the East, I think we know who it's going to be. But from the West, I think I don't know that you can go wrong with either one of those guys. Both those guys have had a good game.
Well, you got two teams full of all-stars. Can you really go wrong with anyone, I guess?
You can go wrong if you pick me.
That's true.
Bosch will hand, trying to get to the outside to the left. It's Hayes and Weber. Good job on the edge by Mick Wilson to string out the play. Weber, a good job just to get back to about the line of scrimmage. But Wilson strings it out. Hankerson was out there wide. Also out there it was Luke Joslin out of Deary. And really nowhere for Weber to go. He did a pretty good job just to get back close to the line of scrimmage. Wilson almost had him back near the 25, but as is, it gets to the 20. Third down and about 12 with 4.5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Today's game brought to you by the United Dairymen of Idaho. Also Farm Bureau Insurance, and don't forget SafeLink Internet.
Tell you what, the Magic Valley here has so many dairy farmers in this area that really do a lot for their communities all over the state.
Bosma with time to throw, good protection. Now he'll roll to the right, looking for somewhere to go, looking for Fitzsimmons again. Oh, they're going to flag him. Oh, I thought that was a heck of a play from Cody Self, but maybe got that left hand up on the back of Devin Fitzsimmons before reaching around to knock it away.
I think he used him to elevate himself just a little bit
a little bit.
Is that wrong? What?
If that's wrong, I don't want to be right. Sure, we've mentioned everybody here. Have we talked a little bit about everybody? Jacob Oatman out of Kamei, Furman from Garden Valley. You see anybody there? Taryn Zolman out of Salmon River. I haven't seen him, number 11. Do not see him here for the West Side. He was a good player for that Salmon River team. Dylan Fisher, Blake Aquino out of Idaho City. Mick Wilson, Leighton, Vander, Esch. We've said their names plenty. So now we'll replay third down. And this is definitely the deepest penetration for the East, as they have a third down and let's call it 3 at the 10-yard line. Bosma gets under center. Now he'll drop into a shotgun with a back on either side. Holbrook on one, Weber on the other. Bosma will hand to Holbrook. Great job shooting the gap. That's Hankerson out of Prairie. Just comes flying in between the guard and the center, blows it up for a loss of a yard. It's fourth down. Unfortunate thing there for the East is it looked like there was a hole to the right side where he was headed. But Hankerson coming in from the backside, Holbrook never even had a chance. Inside 4 minutes to go in this one. 7th grade game coming up next at 1 o'clock. Fourth down, Bosma will keep. Did he get it? I don't think he did, and I think the ball came loose anyway. So the West holds as once again the East drives but comes up empty. Bosma tried that little keeper again. He got close but then got stood up and pushed back. As Rob Bafus from Troy, Brad Bronicky is assistant coach. They've done a good job getting these kids ready to play, which is not always easy to do in an all-star setting. We mentioned, you only have a couple of days to learn each other's names, let alone the plays and the tendencies. The West will take over just outside their own 10. Handoff coming to the right-hand side. That's Furman. Nice job there on the tackle. That is Zeke Brown out of Calvary Chapel, which is now called, what, Warm Springs, you said?
Water Springs.
Water Springs. Warm Springs is a golf course in Boise.
Christian school in Idaho Falls.
I once hit a goose on Warm Springs golf course in Boise.
That wasn't very nice.
Well, it didn't die. I mean, it might have at a later time, but it did not die from the injury it sustained. I don't hit a golf ball hard enough to kill anything.
Any situation, if you had to go before a judge, it didn't die.
At least
not really a good defense.
Hey, sometimes it's the best you got. We're inside 3 minutes to go here in this football game. The West up big and with the ball. Lane Vander Esch back to throw, sets his feet. He's going to go ahead and sling one. He's got a guy out there. It's Aquino. He's got it! And he's going to go. This is going to be a touchdown. 88 yards.
Now, some might think that that's a rub-in play, but really what they're thinking is it gets them the ball back sooner to give them another chance to score.
It's 8-man football, too.
So, really, it was helping
Well thrown ball.
East. Very well.
Well thrown ball. That's the Aquino's third touchdown catch of the game. So for Vander Esch now, let's do the count. Touchdown run, touchdown pass, touchdown pass, touchdown reception, touchdown pass, touchdown pass. No, touchdown reception. So 3 passing, 2 receiving, 1 running. 6 touchdowns. Another day at the office.
He's good for 36. He's about half the points.
He's got the 2-point conversion reception as well.
Okay, well there is half the points then.
And now he's lined up at receiver. Caston Holbrook comes over. He's going to cover him. Let's see if it's a little man-to-man here. Probably Mick Wilson, a tremendous jump on the play. He's wide open in the end zone. Have you ever seen the movie?
Look over here. Look over here.
Have you ever seen the movie The Best of Times?
No.
It's Robin Williams and Kurt Russell. It's a terrible movie, but there's this scene. They're replaying a football game from like 30 years ago.
Okay.
And Robin Williams is the geeky little wide receiver. Kurt Russell's the star quarterback. And the geeky wide receiver finally gets into the game, right? And Kurt Russell says, okay, I'm throwing it to you, but it's on 2. So they show Robin Williams over there. He lines up, and he's like, it's on 2. It's on 2. It's on 2.
Hut.
Kurt Russell says hut, and he takes off with his hand in the air, screaming, I'm open! I'm open! Back to throw. It's Cody Self looking for the 2-point conversion. Has Vander Esch behind him. He'll come back to the right. Big pancake block. Self is going to get pulled down. He does flip it off to a Joslin of all people. He's going to be pulled down at about the 15-yard line, so the try is no good. I didn't see who it was, but there was a pretty good pancake block as the quarterback Self spun back. But good defense there from the East to knock that one down. 2:34 to go. 64-0. Let's take a timeout on IdahoSports.com.
This is my classroom.
This is my laboratory.
These are my school supplies.
This is my study group.
This is my final project. Apply now for the NIC Carpentry Program. North Idaho College. Start here, go anywhere.
Back on IdahoSports.com, Will Henneke, Paul Kingsbury with you. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. In the 8-man All-State football game, brought to you by the United Dairymen of Idaho, the West, which is districts 1, 2, and 3, leading the East convincingly. The East will get one more shot here with the football to try and break up this shutout. Kick down the field. Grabbed by Devin Fitzsimmons, waiting for his blockers to set up. Will head to the right. Now cuts back up the middle. Has a little bit of room out across the 30-yard line. Some of your major sponsors here for these All-State football games. 208movie.com, Arnold Machinery, Bodybuilding.com, Tapout.com, WannaPlayCollegeSports.com, and Wilson Harrison Company in Boise. Of course, IdahoSports.com as well, bringing these games to you. So basically half of the World Wide Web on board with today's broadcasts.
Yes.
But we'd like to thank them for their support here. Again, those major sponsors, 208movie.com, Arnold Machinery, Bodybuilding.com, Tapout.com, WannaPlayCollegeSports.com, and Wilson Harris and Company from Boise. Change in quarterback here is getting a look, throwing it down the field, it'll fall incomplete. Getting an opportunity to take a couple snaps here. It's Riley Reynolds out of Castleford, who was playing some offensive line earlier. He's a big kid. He's got a little bit of size to him, 6'2", 225. The Castleford Wolf taking over for Logan Bosma, who took a beating today. Really did. Made some plays, ran for his life a lot. And now is playing wide receiver. He'll line up in the slot on the right-hand side. 2 receivers to either side. Reynolds takes the snap, drops to throw, sets his feet, delivers a good ball on the out route, caught by Fitzsimmons. He'll get out near midfield. If he could have broken one more tackle, he flips it forward to Bosma, which, as you know, not legal. But you applaud him for trying something with 1:18 to go in this football game.
It's like I was turned backwards, so it really was a backwards flip.
I was dang near upside down, too. I didn't know which way was the right way. Fitzsimmons, he's working on about a 5-6 catch game.
Yeah.
Has acquitted himself pretty well. He would have a couple other catches and probably a touchdown if he hadn't been covered by Cody Self. What?
See the airplane doing the spiral on the way down?
No. Is he going to crash? Or we got live breaking news here?
Are you saying you don't see the spiral in the sky?
Well, I do, but I wasn't aware that it was a plane spiraling out of control that caused it.
What, just a natural phenomenon of a spiral chemtrail?
Well, I'm looking at the football game. I'm not watching the clouds. You want to break down the clouds to our left here?
5-hour energy wore off. I'm got to get my focus back.
You're getting loopy? It's not good when a 5-hour energy wears off after 2 hours. Reynolds takes the shotgun snap. Pressure coming. Evades one. Now throws it deep down the middle. Had Bosma again overthrown a bit. 2 defenders in the neighborhood. Tell you this, Reynolds has got a pretty good arm. He delivered that one down the middle. Had Bosma on a deep crossing route about 20 yards down the field, and he overthrew him. 1:08 to go here in the fourth quarter. The East trying to get that 0 off the board. And it looks like Bosma will move back to quarterback here. It's not very often you see a kid move from left guard to quarterback back to left guard. But that's what Reynolds will do here. As Bosma takes the snap, avoids the sack, runs up across the 50-yard line, gets just over into the territory of the West. Mick Wilson trying to strip the football. Also in on the tackle was Sandquist out of Troy. And that'll bring up third down and call it 4 with 40 seconds and rolling here in the final period of play. So maybe 2 more plays here for the East. In fact, they'll sit the ball right on the 50-yard line with 35 seconds to go. Bosma, 2 receivers either side, will drop back. Will run right into Root, now into Mick Wilson. Flips it over to Riley Reynolds. He'll carry it down. A little option pitch as we got a little chicanery going on here. They'll lose a couple of yards. Aaron Kirby winds up with the ball in his hands. He'll lose a couple. That'll bring up fourth down, but 15 seconds is all that's left in this football game. What now? You keep pointing at things.
Because I don't want to say them out loud.
Well, it doesn't help me if I don't know what you're pointing at.
And you are quite...
Well, that's what happens when I'm your fallback option. Oh.
Got a timeout, so we're going to go through the
I got you.
The All-State game sponsors.
No, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Barely.
Yeah, just by a little.
Action Collection Service Inc. of Boise. Again, Consignment Clothing in Eagle. Angela and Tommy Smith. Anna Aldis and Mike Barker. Averett Family. B&B Construction, LLC in Middleton. Barkay Ranch in Dietrich. Big Sky Dairies in Kimberly. Blackstead Building Company in Boise. Bloom Family. Bradshaw Associates, Inc., a livestock nutritional company in Caldwell.
There's a woman right below us getting her sunscreen on right now. I wonder if it's SPF 8.
I have some up here. I didn't know if you knew that.
I could drop it down to her really quick.
Callie
it's just
Ford.
Like pouring gas on your skin.
I'm ignoring you. Cherry Gulch of Emmett, Civil Survey Consultants, Inc. of Meridian. Clark Family. Clearwater Concrete, Inc. in McCall, Ontario, and Nissa, and the Hattrip family.
Nissa, Oregon.
Correct. You are correct. Crawford Family, Crescent Farms in Castle Ford. D. Monson, Inc. in Buell. Datum Construction in Eagle. De Luna Tooth and Turf in McCall. That's an odd combination of businesses, Tooth and Turf.
Yeah, it is.
Dentistry for Kids.
Got to keep your options open,
Earl
I guess.
Family, Emmett High History Club, Excel Athletics in Twin Falls, and First Baptist Church of Middleton, along with a few others we'll try and get to.
Fourth down. One last heave here. Dropping back, letting it fly. Fitzsimmons is out there, coming in, breaking up, tipped. Oh, almost caught, coming back to it.
Man, worthless.
It's going to fall incomplete, and with one more snap, this game will be in the books. So time to select our players of the game. Now let's wait. Let's finish the game. We'll take a quick timeout, and then we'll pick our players of the game.
Now, Matt Williams down below will also be awarding the All-State Games, Want to Play IdahoSports.com MVP of the game, which they'll be awarding that as well.
Okay. 6 seconds left in this football game.
A couple more of our gold sponsors here of the All-State games. Excel Athletics in Twin Falls, First Baptist Church of Middleton. I think we got those twice now. Fisher Family, Fresh Farm Fundraisers of Ammon, Idaho. Funkhauser Cattle in Fairfield.
Lonnie Funk?
Hauser. Austin Funkhauser.
We got a good game going on behind us here. It just keeps growing. Final snap of the game here. Self will toss, sweep it. They're going to give it to Mick Wilson. Give the big fella out at Council a carry. Gearing to the right. Going over to make the tackle. That's Logan Bosma. And we even get a Gatorade bath on the far side. So this one's in the books. West 64.
Oh, and they're going to try and Gatorade bath on this side as well.
East, nothing. They're sneaking up.
Not?
Rob Bafus, here it comes. Ready, set. Oh, boy, they buried him.
I think they tagged him with the cooler.
Oh, and they missed him. Yeah, he might have a concussion.
Might have a slippery spot there for the 7th grade game.
Yeah, no kidding. Watch out on those post-game handshakes. So this one's over. Final score 64-0. When we come back, we'll run through the scoring summary real quick, give you our players of the game as they hand out some medals here post-game. 64-0 the final score. West over the East. 8-man all-state football game. We'll be right back on IdahoSports.com.
You're watching an IdahoSports.com game streams production of Idaho High School Sports. Enjoy the game.
Welcome back on IdahoSports.com. Will Henneke with you along with Paul Kingsbury. The West game, East game, 8-man game is in the books. As the West wins it by a final score of 64-0. They just came to Paul and I and said, instead of doing an East and West, let's do an offensive player of the game and a defensive player of the game. They'll be announcing those here momentarily. Paul, you and I got to pick those.
We did.
We picked them on the fly.
Look at us. Wasn't that hard, though. It was who
I think the only question was with an offensive player of the game was going to be Leighton Vander Esch, who had 3 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown catches, and a touchdown run. Or was it going to be Cody Self, who had 2 touchdown passes? You could have made a case for Blake Diakino as well from Idaho City, who had 3 touchdown catches. So that was the only question offensively, is which of those 3 it was. Defensively, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't really that tough of a choice defensively either, for me anyway. And, you may look at it and say, wait a minute, what? But we'll explain momentarily as they get set to announce these. Hang with us.
Well, you and I were going to pick a West and an East, and it turns out our picks ended up being the offense and defense anyway.
They did.
So.
Oh, they're doing all of the player awards here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and blow the announcements here, as we'll get to them first. So, Paul, why don't you go find our offensive player of the game? Get a good shot of him. And see if anybody can identify him. He's behind Coach Bafus right now, it looks like.
Thank you.
Taking his pads off. You got him?
Yep.
There's your offensive player of the game from the 8-man all-state football game. Leighton Vander Esch out of Salmon River. We mentioned 3 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown catches, a touchdown run, also caught a 2-point conversion pass. A tremendous game for the Boise State-bound player. He is your offensive player of the game. As for your defensive player of the game, you're going to wonder if I'm out of my mind, or out of our mind, I should say. Because our selection for defensive player of the game comes from the team that lost by a score of 64-0. But Caston Holbrook out of North Gem, wearing number 6. Is he on the screen, Paul?
Yep.
What a game that young man had. He had at least 3 or 4 tackles for losses. He had probably at least 15 tackles. Nearly had an interception as well. He had a tremendous game. So he, despite the fact things did not go well overall for his team, Caston Holbrook, he is your defensive player of the game. And, you could have made a pretty good case for Mick Wilson as well. You could have made a pretty good case on the winning side for Sam Root, the linebacker. But in the end, we thought that Caston Holbrook, really made his presence felt defensively.
Let's go over a couple more of our All-State game sponsors. Each one of these kids goes out and gets.
By the way, we were right when they announced the number ones.
It was Asdell, huh?
Yeah, he was the one in the shorts.
Got the Garcia family, Gold's Gym of Twin Falls, Grandma and Papa Ari. The Guberson family, Hernandez Painting in McCall, Hess Boys Water and Oilfield Service in Teutonia. Horton family, Idaho Lock and Key, Idaho Falls Lock and Key, Idaho Peace Officers Association, Idaho Supreme Potato. The England family, Jack Verbery, J.R. Dairies, LLC in Wendell. Jamba Juice in Rexburg, the Jardine family. JD's Nick Tuck Outfitters in Riggins. Jen's House Cleaning in Caldwell. Jerry Peterson Farm Bureau Financial Services in Rigby. Jerry's Auto Parts in Council and McCall. Jim and Sally Otto, Jolly family. Kent and Carrie Scow. Steve and Diane Scow. And Richard and Brenda Barlow. Kim and Chris Walker, Knutson family. Levitt Women's Healthcare Corp in Idaho Falls. Leonard Petroleum Equipment in Boise. Les Schwab in the Magic Valley. Lundgren family, the Lynch family, Magic Valley Eagles Cheer. Magnuson family. Malad Gorge Farms in Gooding. Mary Cook, McRoberts, Lawrence, Clemens family, Merlin's TV in Pocatello, Mike Shetler Homes, Mills family, Mitchell family, Mylin Rodig, Notice Community, Pierce Concrete and Excavation, Pilot Flying J, Pioneer Family Medicine in Boise, Piquette family, the Pizza Pie Cafe in Rexburg, been there, very good stuff, Power Enterprises in Nampa, Rocky Mountain Agronomics in Burley, Rocky Ridge Ranch in Dietrich, Ross Coin and Gun in Idaho Falls, the Sandquist family, the Saxton family, Silverline Builders in Rexburg, Sutherland Cabinet in Rexburg, Syringa Construction in Boise, Terry Baker, MD Ear, Nose, and Throat, Teton Nuclear Medicine Service in Idaho Falls, the I Associates, the Heffley family, the Honey Store in Fruitland, Thornton, Oliver Keller, TMC Contractors in Idaho Falls, Trail Creek Nursery in Victor, Vasquez family, Wood family, Young family, Zundel family. Those are the gold sponsors of the All-State Games. Of course, I want to thank our IdahoSports.com webcast sponsors, United Dairymen of Idaho, Les Schwab Tires, Cable One Phone and Internet, AgriService, Farm Bureau Insurance, and of course SafeLink Internet, who provided the internet for these games today. I want to give them a big thank you. They're all over District 3, 4, 5, and 6, from Vail all the way around to Rexburg. We'll be working with them quite a bit this year with internet at the different locations we broadcast from.
They're finishing up the player medals right now. There's J.D. Furman from Garden Valley getting his, Luke Joslin getting his right now, and then I assume they'll have the formal announcement of the offensive and defensive player of the game, who we've already kind of spoiled.
We already gave the official announcement.
Yeah, but it's already out there. It's breaking news. It's already out there.
Did you tweet it?
And Coach No, I might tweet it here in a couple of minutes. But we got to get to the end of the broadcast first. Here we go. Defensive player of the game. It sounds as though Mr. Holbrook's family is in attendance. He was just announced as the defensive player of the game. You know, he'll go back and he'll watch this DVD at some point, and he'll realize he just had himself a heck of a football game. And there's Leighton Vander, Esch, your offensive player of the game. As this one is in the books, they'll get all the teams together, I assume, do a couple of team photos. Steve Connor out there right now trying to line everyone up. Certainly didn't go the way the East had hoped, went the way the West had hoped. But in the end, it's a good, clean football game. Nobody gets hurt. And now we have a timeout on IdahoSports.com. Setting your schedule for the rest of the day. This one is done. The 8-man West defeats 8-man East 64-0. Coming up at 1 o'clock, the 7th grade all-state football game, followed by, at 4 o'clock, the 8th grade all-state football game. So come back and join us. We're going to take a little break right now, but when we come back, it'll be time for the 7th grade all-state football game. For Paul Kingsbury, I'm Will Henneke. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll see you in a few minutes. So long.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com game streams brought to you by the United Dairymen of Idaho. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of Idaho